Yeah, nice try with a hard stop after all the.
Batteries?
No, don't bring that back.
After
No, you got your one run with that. Don't bring that back. You can't bring
very
that back.
funny is if that was the last one we did, right? I can't
Yeah.
remember which one that was.
Yeah,
But
that was
if they
awesome.
just pick this one up and the first thing I see is batteries with no context.
Well, like now you're making it. It's got to be a trilogy, and
It has to be.
ultimately, this is turning into a trilogy of shows. We're at the midway point of what could be the best cartoon brought back, but I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know. I have things to say about things to say.
Reserve my judgment for the end of it.
Well,
Because
no,
I remember with
I'm not
what
reserving any
if
judgment.
what if
Yeah,
I didn't like it at all until the ending. I was like, oh, okay,
A-
now we're getting somewhere.
and then nobody watched season 2, so
I haven't watched it either.
yeah,
Have you?
whatever.
Which is crazy because I think it was better as a one off, but whatever.
It depends if they're using it as a setup, but that was a whole other discussion.
Right, and then they like skipped some episodes that were supposed to be in it. There was supposed
Yep.
to be a Gamora and Iron Man episode or something like that. And
And then we were right in the middle of MCU fatigue, so back at it again like we never left. Coke and Dank and Coke previously on Comic Patrol.
hey, Dank,
Hey, Coke,
why did Abercrombie hire Nightcrawler?
because he's a Fitch.
He looks good in blue jeans. Because he's blue. Right? You got the X gene, makes him blue.
But don't I have to be like aware of like Abercrombie style and shit?
I don't know. Listen, I've used a lot of X-Men jokes in our
You don't-
run, and we're running thin on
You don't have like more Colossus jokes?
Yeah, I do actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do.
Who's pulling Nightcrawler? Just because of the appearance. Anyway,
What does Kitty Pryde use to get off when Colossus isn't around?
what?
A steel dough.
Come on, man. That's the money. What are you doing here?
Colossus and Kitty haven't been in this stuff yet, right? So
I don't care.
I was like Nightcrawler.
I don't care.
That's a throwback to you in the early episode saying
Yeah.
Mahomes is a metal dick.
Listen, Colossus is top 5 draft pick.
It's your boy.
He's on the board. And what we were talking about before, because we're now reviewing episodes 5, 6, 7,
Yes.
the way that they're splitting their characters and their arcs and their storylines, one could assume or one could wish we might actually get a X-Men Gold and an X-Men Blue team in future seasons, right?
Based on what we see in this show so far, you never know.
And
'Cause
that's
they seem to be just doing whatever, right? Which is cool. So
well, not whatever. I think there's actual planning to who we're going to include and why.
no, when I said whatever, I meant like no, there's nothing off the table.
Yeah, that looks
Like
like
they're just free reign of the toy chest, right? It's we'll just take whoever we want because there's some cameos in this.
yeah.
Wild.
Well, these 3 episodes are crazy for cameos because we get to see
Yeah.
Genosha twice, and both times we're like, "Oh, this person's like walking around here like
Yeah, yeah.
doing shit."
I kind of screwed myself because in the first 4 episodes we did, I was doing the cameo count, and it was like 3 guys, 4. Now I'm like, oh Jesus! And
Yeah.
I'm like, what's her name again?
Yeah.
It's like, who is that? There's a couple that I actually did not even know. I was like, who is that? I was like, oh,
You painted yourself into a corner when you were
Yeah.
like Morph's cameo count, and like that was great. But then at a certain point, like for 2 episodes, Morph's like, "I'm just gonna be me," and I was like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
Coke, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do?"
yeah.
And then he's like, "All right, Quicksilver,"
They kept it going, and now it's just like, whew,
and he picks Quicksilver when he returns. Like, what?
with the fast punches, with the really
Why?
fast punches.
Why? Oh, like pick somebody strong and just
Like
walk,
Colossus?
or like Juggernaut, just go
Yeah.
boom the
seen-
dude.
I haven't seen Juggernaut yet.
But we've seen Strong Guy, so like that
Although, if
threw
he,
me for a loop.
hold on, I got a question for you. If Morph did morph into Juggernaut,
Would he get the same power strength?
he wouldn't have the crystalline Cataract with him.
No, he
Would he be super strong, or is it just big?
It'd be a big punch. It just wouldn't be as hard as Juggernaut.
Yeah.
One would assume. I don't know how much power he actually gets when he transforms into these adjacent mutants, right?
Yeah,
Like I don't
because he doesn't just become psychic when he turns into Jean Grey, right?
know, but and specifically if we've been watching more, if he chooses specific characters for their fighting
Mm-hmm.
ability
Yes,
as
like
opposed
Psylocke or Quicksilver.
to their power sets, right? He'll choose Angel or Archangel if he's falling, free falling, and needs to fly, right?
Because he has
So
physical wings.
yeah, so
He doesn't just turn into Rogue.
there are limitations, and then that gives more of a strategy, right? Like I got to
Mhm.
do my research on these dudes because one day he'll turn up like Glob and make some
Just
pancakes
look,
for everybody.
it
Yep,
was,
there it is. There it is. That's
it's
what I
like
want.
on
That's
that cookbook. I remember
that's
I
the
was talking so much smack on them, and I was just messing around.
I was like, why? You didn't cook. I was like, sure.
I didn't
I
care.
guess not.
I was being annoying. I was in one of those moods.
But like that's like if he turns into magic, does he automatically get that sword?
No, he wouldn't get that sword. I don't think.
See, so
And I don't think he'd be able to turn. Well, I guess he could turn to Darkchild, but it wouldn't be like he wouldn't be opening gates to hell. I think he would just be.
yeah, if he turns into Shadow King, can he
Wait,
inflict?
he did turn into Magic and Darkchild.
Yeah,
He
and
did, and he did have a sword, didn't he?
he didn't have the sword, but he had a sword.
There we go. I got to go
So
back and look at that now because I'm not sure if he had. Good call.
it's
Good
weird.
call.
Yeah, we
Because
are the
if he goes into cult Sabretooth, he doesn't have the healing factor. He
doesn't he?
has been Sabretooth.
We don't know, right? That's a good gray point to like play
Yeah,
around with Morph because we
yeah.
don't really know, but we know he's got a whole range of.
They
I
don't
know
give
this
you
guy,
much. Yeah, it's like you say. He gives like the little like the physically able people, like not Kate Pride, but
right?
um, excuse me, Lady Deathstrike.
Right.
Okay, just got the
Just got to
long
pause. Yeah.
fingers.
So he's really choosing mutants out here that look like mutants.
Yeah,
So maybe Leech will come back.
maybe he
All
hasn't.
right.
He hasn't. He hasn't. He hasn't been Beast yet.
R.I.P. B. R.I.P. Leech.
Leech. Yeah. Yeah. Sir.
Magneto will save us. I love that guy. That was a great cameo, man. Just a hopeful little
Did he
child.
leech? Did he save you?
He kind of did.
Actually, that was pretty cool. That was the whole thing. Anyways,
Well,
we
let's get into it. Yeah, man.
we can get into it. We can get
We're
into it.
having fun because we were complaining about the first 4 episodes, and namely, they weren't giving us enough time to breathe in episodes in the story arcs.
To be,
Immediately following that, it turns into we're getting more kind of character depth and more. I don't say tragedy, but the story arcs are now connecting and lengthening with what all the characters are having to deal with in the larger scope of the X-Men kind of universe.
to be fair, I still have plenty of complaints.
You're not alone,
So, to
but
be fair,
I would say 5, 6, and 7 are a vast improvement from 1 to 4. If that's just me, I'm fine with that.
I'm not sure if it's a because 6 is.
There's a dip,
That's a,
but what? Like I'm still pissed about Madeline,
but
and
then
then
4 was.
and then and then Madeline is like dead. So,
Yeah, I don't.
but like a kind of
But then
cool
there's
death,
anyways there's some
and
heavy
then
lifting that goes on by one episode, and there's some really saggy. So we'll just get into it.
but listen, in terms of character development, I like 5 to 7 better than 1 to 4 because we get to see how pissed off all of the sane and kind of not headstrong, but all the Boy Scouts are now pissed off with what the human race has been doing to them for all
I
these
do
years.
I enjoy that they're slowly like one by one
It's like
going
that.
like you
It's
know
like
what
Magneto was right.
Magneto's
Magneto was
right.
right. Magneto was right. Magneto was right. They're all so like.
Yeah,
How do I not enjoy that? Right? These
I
are
do.
all. This is the Empire Strikes Back of this Star Wars little trilogy that they're building.
Okay, episode 5.
Let's do it.
Remember it. Remember it. This is the episode that takes place in Genosha. We get to see it, and my first note is Genosha looking real Krakoa here,
Mhm.
with because the council has the Half Hellfire Club. Um, there's the mutant utopia that's like Genosha was that, but it wasn't quite as like what we get in this show is kind of a cross between Krakoa and Genosha from the comics,
Yep.
right? So it's like that's why I said I was like, oh, again, Krakoa vibes here. Um, but
Thanks for thanks
in
for
this,
reiterating what you immediately just said.
yeah, I know.
That helps
I
catch me
did
up.
that because I was reading my second note, so I just repeat. Just it's like a just so there wasn't dead silence. I know.
Well, I'm listening because there've been
God,
complaints that we talk over each other, but now that you know you don't like the dead silence, I'll just start talking over you again.
a pregnant pause is okay, but dead silence is not. How's that?
Have I sent you the pregnant Spider-Man meme yet?
I don't know, man.
It's
Maybe
it's
like
it's
if I get a lot in a row, I don't check them all. I'm just like, okay.
yeah. I gotta go back to like gifts now because you don't even open links anymore. Like,
Sometimes
I don't want to read this.
if oh that as I opened that one and I just saw like lines of text, I was like, I can't. I'm not reading this right now. I'm not doing it.
What has come to our generation that you don't want to read like 10 lines of text on a Twitter
Yeah. Well,
post?
that's the thing. It's Twitter. I'm not on Twitter for a reason. I don't like reading it. It's just like this joke. You know what it was? I read like the first two lines. I'm like, this isn't funny. It's like,
It leads into a video, and I just gave you like the summary. You're like, meh. And I was like, all right, I gotta rethink everything I send to Coke now because there's a whole lipness test in the.
yeah, but no, but even like if you send me like 8, 9 in a row, and then over on this app it's like another four, and then I'm like, man, like I'm
That's
hopping
how.
around here. Like,
That's what happens when I go to IG. I open IG and I always have 4 plus from you, 4 plus from you, and I
yes,
go in
but that's
and
just
it's
IG.
six and it's
Just
16.
yeah,
I don't. What the fuck?
yeah.
Like
At least it's contained. My point is, at least it's contained.
we have 3 threads going, 2 emails, an IG, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
No, the IG is good though because I we don't talk on IG. We just that's just the meme space. But that's so you brought the memes over from Twitter and Reddit, and you put them into our chat channel. And I'm all discombobulated. So I'm like, I can't.
Listen here, Chuck. Magneto was right. Okay, so if this is our schism right here, which I really hope is something that they're also leaning into. I know we're jumping around, but I'd love.
They might, but there's been like Wolverine's been like an afterthought in this. So I don't know.
No, he's been quiet, and I like the fact that it seems that they're reversing the roles between Cyclops and
Mhm.
Wolverine. And Wolverine, typically from our childhood, was the outspoken, like bravado, like we can't listen to these motherfuckers. We'll do it our way. And this time, he's taken a back seat. He's more stoic. He's more like of a teacher and a professor, and giving kind, like calm guidance to certain characters at certain times. But if a certain point comes where he feels that Scott is getting too militant, which in the comics Scott gets very militant. I would love them to go into schism. I
Yeah,
mean, it may be too early for that. I'm hoping this is a running series, but man, I'm like one of the only few that liked the schism comic run when it came out. I don't know if it finished as strong as I would have liked, but when those two finally face off, god damn, those were some great panels.
yeah, yeah. I agree with everything you just said. Um, my point was just like they haven't built up to it, but then I immediately just realized that the show doesn't really build up to a lot of things. There's a
No,
lot of things that just don't build up; they just throw it at you. So it could
we're basically
easily
in
happen.
Days of Future Past again.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're like 2 clicks on it. And again, we're jumping around. So if you haven't realized how much our excitement is about the show and how many things we want to talk about it, it's because they've been throwing a lot of things at the wall, and there's
Mhm.
specific characters that we're really starting to love and grow into. Whether or not they've done that successfully, again, our chats are filled with memes I'm sending your way, and you're like, I hate this stuff coming this way. So like we've constantly been like, when do we record? Because we need to start telling the 6 people that listen to us,
Yeah, and
hey,
then
here's what's going
play,
on in '97.
playoffs screwed us up too. Let's call a spade here. We are comic book fans and we are also big sports fans, and like this time of year is the playoffs,
Best time of year.
it's just ruined.
Except if you have a horse in the race and your horse stinks. And
Yeah, yeah,
I got a couple stinky horses.
yeah,
It's glue factory, but yeah, we're
yeah,
here.
yeah. I was just my gut was saying, it was like, how did Steel draft? And I was like, no, we can't go that way. You can't go that
Really
way
well.
because
We had the craziest offseason. We picked
yes,
up
there you
2
go.
like elite quarterbacks and then like all of this defense, like we have all pussy
Hold
around.
on, hold on. Who-
2 elite quarterbacks.
Fields is not an elite quarterback.
Give him time. He's more elite than who Atlanta
Trubisky.
picked up. No, I didn't say that. I said that Atlanta picked up because I want to laugh at rich boy, rich boy Kirk.
Listen, I believe that Russell Wilson could have a renaissance easily.
Bro, if this turns
But
into if
let's pump the
if
brakes of Fields. He's got
if
enough. He hasn't
if
proved shit.
if this turns into any given Sunday and you got the old wayward captain
Mhm.
and the new steaming Wally Beeman, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, but
But
you called him elite already. You gotta stop with that. You can't.
I'm going off coaching.
You got potential
I'm going
You
off
have you have
coaching.
a former elite quarterback, and then one that has
You
that
asked about my
might have
off.
potential.
You
Okay,
asked about my off season,
and
and we
then you
got
call Justin Fields elite, and I was like, I can't abide by
look at
this.
the quarterbacks we had for the last two
Yeah,
seasons.
but I'm NFC North. I know what this guy does. He's not.
I
Tomlin's amazing. I love
I
Tomlin, but
compare it to Rudolph.
yes, and Trubisky,
Compare it to Trubisky.
who I warned you about, and you were like, "Nah, he's moving the chains."
He moves chains. He just doesn't move it consistently or in the right direction. And then compared to Pickens, who was our draft pick
Because that's right. Didn't you move
two
him?
two seasons ago. He not with us no more. No more. No more. So yes, everybody knew is elite. So I'm ecstatic, and that's September football, bruh,
No,
bruh.
we can't talk about sports on this
I
podcast.
mean, we can.
We're
All this
way
gonna get
too
edited out.
passionate.
And then this is not indicative of what Coke and Dang do. We are very interested in talking X Men. There's just we haven't
So much going on. Yeah.
literally talked in a while, and we just keep sending each other articles and memes and clips, and there's too much going on for us to have a singular idea thought.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So episode 5.
Five. I can remember it. Okay. Genosha's looking real cool. The mutant utopia is being recognized by the government, and for the most part, people seem to be publicly celebrating, but secretly hating. Like the humans are hating, and like in secret though. It's kind of like the idea, like the face forward is like, oh, it's a good thing, but people are kind of like, I don't like this.
So like how people treat France. Shout outs to France.
Le Français,
Olympics 2024.
les habitants. Psyche and Jean trying to find their way back together. Even so,
Amazing
this this is a
character
cool one.
arcs for three
Because
of them.
this is the Logan thing was kind of weird to me, uncharacteristic in that sense, where she gives them. So they're trying to find their way home. Their home being Psyche and Jean,
Mm-hmm.
and the dilemma here is Cyclops is still in love with Madeline, who is Jean's clone, so it's a little awkward and weird.
But I have a baby with this lady, so
And I actually like that. I appreciate that because they just swept the baby away real quick, but they're not sweeping this drama away. And this works for me. This melodrama here
yep.
works for me because this is a big deal. You know, you fell in love with your your wife's clone and a baby with her, and then she just hit the trails.
Listen, we could all fall for the same sort of scenario.
Yeah.
If another kitty showed up in your life, you're like, ooh.
Oh, I don't need that. That's
One kitty at a time, one cat at a time.
I couldn't handle that. Yeah, there's she's trying to piece herself back together too, her being Jean, and excuse me, there's a bit of a moment that she has with Wolverine. He's kind of like, no, you can't do this. You're supposed to, and I was like, that's not.
Well, first of all, she's trying to assemble all of her memories, and she's trying to split what's from Madeline to hers. Fair. Wolverine offers like a kind word and just like, hey girl, like you got this. And in this moment of weakness and vulnerability, she makes a move. She plants the kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And bro's like, no, this is not how I want you. You can choose me, but you have to choose me when you're sane. So he puts her back on the right path and be like, you're Jean Grey, Scott Summers is your man. Focus on that. And you don't think that's characteristic of Wolverine?
No.
He's not someone to pick up crumbs.
No, I didn't take it as that though. I just was like, because I guess you thought into it more than I did. I didn't. I don't have that much faith in Logan to actually do
The right
something.
thing?
To do something like that. Like, no, this is not how you're supposed to be. Like when she's like, no, you're supposed to be with Cyclops, and that's it.
Right.
Kind of like, I don't know. I think eventually might feel like that, but I think you jump at the opportunity right then to kind of do what
She just came back from who knows where. She's upside down.
Yeah.
Like that's for me. That's like you taking advantage of a drunk chick. She don't know up from down. Like she's trying to get back sober to figure out, cool, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Then if she makes the choice of like, it's not Scott, it's you, it's different. But I like Wolverine in the fact that that guy's been around so long that he's probably been in some sort of instance of this or experience that he has enough sense to be like, chill, girl. Like I'm not dying anytime soon. So get yourself right. If it's really me, then choose me. But you can't choose me like when I throw you a bone and a good word, right? Like I'm not here to take advantage of you, but don't take advantage of like a kind word. Like that's how I read it. Like get your shit straight. And like everything's in flux in that house, right? And as much as you hate as many different rooms are hooking up in different triangles, like Wolverine again is taking the leadership and the focus mindset of this is not what's important now, right? Like I need Jean Grey to be Jean Grey, which comes in later episodes, and you get to see how badass she is. For me to like jump on this right now, like no, it don't make sense. It would make less. It would be for me less out of character for him to enjoy the kiss and progress in whatever relationship they had or could be having.
Great points. I just don't have as much faith in Wolverine as you do. In the Wolverine in my head, I would be
Mm.
like, I'm not saying he would jump and then like get married with her. Like he'd be like, let's get married now. But I just it was his reaction surprised me in the for what I have him characterized in my head. Doesn't mean
I
it's right, but that's
I really
I
think you
was
should
like, oh,
start viewing Wolverine as Cyclops from the '96 version and start viewing Cyclops as Wolverine from the '96 version. If you put their brains in who they are now, and to extent of like we get to see, is it this episode where Cyclops has the interview with Tish? Like more cracks are showing in Cyclops's armor, right? Like he's ready to start fucking
well, I
up
love the interview. I love the
and
interview. Yeah,
and snapping.
this is the episode. Yeah,
I have not seen Wolverine this put together and composed in as many things that I've read or seen Wolverine in. Like it actually seems like he's learned things and he's taking.
he just seems sad to me, and it's kind of like
But
okay.
that's another way of at least taking time to think before you react. When he always used to just react. Like he has two emotions essentially, like anger and sadness. And most of his sadness pulled him away from the team, and he'd be angry and go beat up somebody in like his own B storyline. This one, his sadness is at least keeping everyone in the team, and he's trying to balance all these different things that are going on. There's a lot of juggling balls in the air.
See, and I think that's where the disconnect for me comes from because we haven't seen that development. We're just told it's there, right? Like so from what's the time difference? This like a year? No, a few months, right?
I guess so.
From when the show ended, I can't
Ended,
remember. We
yeah.
talked about it. It's a few months, so it's like they're saying, "Oh, Wolverine's changed a lot in a few months." Oh, we haven't seen it. You haven't even told us that he's just now acting this way. So it's a little weird. I kind of need to be given a bone there. Like I can't just assume, right? Oh, okay, he's gone through a lot in 3 months. Well, he's gone through a lot in 100 years, but like,
That's the
why are these 3 months different than
but that's the
the,
weirdest thing about this.
the past 100? That's what I mean. They're not showing us or telling us. Like he hasn't even said the line like, I've done a lot of soul searching. I picked up meditating. Like I don't like. There's been nothing.
Fair.
It's just like we
But
just have to assume he's different now. It's like, well, why?
I don't blame the character for that. I blame the show
Yeah,
because
it's not yeah,
well the show is a continuation, but it's not.
yeah,
It's a soft reboot, but it's not. Like
yeah,
you know all these characters and
but you don't.
they're staying all these storylines and carrying everything from the past, but it's not right. So nobody's fresh, but that's why I can look at the characters that I remember and be like, "You're not the same, but you remind me of somebody," and that's why I keep flipping Scott and Logan around because their
Okay,
character arcs are similar but flipped now.
so I don't just want to lose this thought because I
No,
will
let's
if I don't.
go go
If I
go
don't
go
get
go
it.
go.
But when you're talking about like connecting these characters to the last show, two come to mind that for opposite ends of the spectrum. Like Beast is
Mhm.
exactly as I remember him. He's acting the exact same way he was in the early cartoons
Right.
or in the '90s cartoons, whereas Scott is acting very different. But we've seen the progression of Scott. Look at the stress this man has been under
Yes.
since the first episode.
Yes.
He thought he was going to take over the team. That was a lie. He
Yes.
thought he was having a baby, and he did. That wasn't his wife. Now his wife is back. He's got to deal with that, and he's got to deal with the Magneto thing. And like he is under like that make for as an
Emotional
example,
turmoil.
that makes sense why he's different now because we've seen these things happen to him, and now he's in a different mindset. Whereas like Wolverine, we haven't seen that.
To your
Right?
point, this is the most time that we have not seen Logan in emotional turmoil. This
Mm-hmm.
has been the most of his life where it's been calm. And in the
We don't know
calmness,
that though. We don't know that though.
but like he's not running away to Canada. Sabretooth isn't showing up behind closed doors. Chuck isn't fucking with his brain. Like everything else, everybody else has got drama, and this is the first time where he's not running off to go deal with his own drama or having crazy nightmares. He's just sitting in it. And to your point, all that he's sitting in is sadness. So in sadness, he's decided not to run away, but like this is how he's. I guess like this is how it's manifesting itself
Mhm.
because he's not stoic, but he's not as aggressive, right? Like it seems like he's the only one that's going to psychiatry.
So why not say that?
I mean,
It's one line, like in a conversation, like
fair.
I haven't really been doing anything these past X amount of days or months. I started therapy. It's nice not having my brain probed. Like that one line in any conversation, be like,
he,
there it is. Okay, so now I can kind of get on board with a different
he's not
characterization.
the character to ever give you
I'm nitpicking here, but
fair. But like we're now getting into a completely great vein and lane that it's amazing to discuss.
yeah,
He's
it's
not the
fun.
character. He's not the character to ever give you that line of exposition. He'd never tell you like, "I'm working on myself now. Meditation really helps in the morning." One and two. What were we talking about? That's the weird thing about this '97 version. We don't know the time scale of what the '90s cartoon was, but the '90s cartoon was definitely aimed at kids. This is not. This
No,
is an adult show, so it's weird that there's a fluidity and connection, but it's for two different audiences. Like I can't put, I wouldn't put my kids. I don't have kids. Sorry, you wouldn't put your kids in front of the TV and be like, start watching '97. But you could put them in front of '96 and be like, okay, you can watch a couple of these episodes. So the amount of heavy lifting and adult issues that like everybody's internally dealing with and that we're now picking up is I think the strength of the writing or the assumption that the people watching can now see these different characteristics in these different characters, right? Like we'll get into a whole Storm thing, but her whole arc was realizing like I'm the strongest. Nothing can take anything from me, right? And like that's more about like healing and internal and how you treat yourself as opposed to an outside villain attacking you, right? So the '96 had outside villains attacking you, and you're like, okay, they got to defeat this. And '97 is all about like internal struggles and like how do I deal with my day to day sanity to like stay alive while all these things are coming at me.
going back to what you said about Wolverine about he's not the one to say like, oh, I've been going to therapy, whatever that. You're absolutely right, and that's why I'm talking about that scene where Jean kisses him.
Mm-hmm.
He would like the Wolverine in my head that
Right.
we've grown to know would be like, if he's gonna go that lane, he's gonna be like, this ain't right, and then leave. He's not gonna be like, this ain't right. You're supposed to be with Cyclops. This is what you like. There's no. He's not gonna lecture you.
Fair.
He's gonna be
So you,
like,
you could
nah,
say it's heavy handed in the fact that
yeah,
you're like you have to be with Scott, but the bottom line is like this doesn't feel right. This is not
yeah.
how I want you.
That's fine. But
They'll watch
it's
it.
then so if it had been more, I'd be like I said again. I'm nitpicking here, but it's
Yeah,
just like the characterization. I'm like, this is like writing you could have fixed in one line. It's just like this ain't right. And then she's kind of confused, but that's what Wolverine is. He's like
it's
he doesn't lecture you. He's just kind of like nah.
it's amazing how close they are to like a near flawless show because
They're very close with a
there's
lot of things. Yes.
certain scenes and certain interactions you're like, oh my god, we're getting what we never thought we were gonna get, and like, oh no, why did you say that? You didn't need to say that, or like, why couldn't you say something more
Mhm.
to help fill the gap? So again, I like the dynamic that's going on with Wolverine because he seems super sad, and I like the dynamic going on with Cyclops because that bro's gonna snap.
That was a really fun conversation. That was, I enjoyed that a lot. And then
And
on
wait, before you go on, and in Coke and Dank tradition, we leave that conversation by saying AIT.
yeah,
Wait,
no,
AI
ATD ATD.
ATD. My bad. Ah.
It's like agree to disagree. We're not really disagreeing. We're just having like we just have different. I
There's a
don't know.
forum, yeah.
It was good. And then on Scott's side, he's keeping in mental touch with Madeline, which
So
was
is that cheating?
it is like I pretty much because Jean catches them,
Yeah.
so he's not really cheating in a
That,
sense, but he's not letting her go. I
it's
think
a
that's what
phone call though. Like I'm just phoning up my baby mama. Like I
yeah
gotta.
behind, but she doesn't
It's
know
not,
that.
but it's not behind her back. Like I'm in my brain. Can I not have my brain time?
That's
So like
true.
there's the weird levels that as a husband, he can't bring any of these up because you're not gonna win them. But as internet fans, like I'm here to help the case for Scott. I'm talking to my baby mama because in this corner of my brain, we had a whole life together. Now I don't know if it was best that we're sitting on a bed,
I was just gonna say that. Like,
but we need to talk. Like there's a lot of things left unsaid, and this is the way that we normally talk. So like, bro's wrapped up because he's got two sides of the brain, and both of them have a gene lookalike occupying them.
yeah,
But yeah, when her big head showed up,
yeah, that was funny. That
I'd be
was
like, "Hey, who you talking to?" I was like, "Damn!" Like I can't even get like, "Yo, give me 5 minutes of my old brain." Like, nope.
my
And like,
favorite.
and that's for me. That's a fucking Charles cheat. Like, get out of my brain, bro. Like,
Yeah.
don't. I'm a mutant. I'm powerful, and I gotta do a whole lot of shit. I don't want you just attacking me and coming like, Scott, we need your help. Like, get out. Like, there are easier ways. I'll wear a wristwatch if you want to buzz. Like, I'll wear pagers. You can buzz me, but like between the hours of 3 to 5, this is Scott's time. If I gotta talk to my baby mama on my baby mama bed, my conceiving bed, I'm gonna do it.
You gotta get that King Kong eye in the window. What are you doing? What are you doing there? Who's there with you? Who's that? My favorite part was that apparently this mental connection that him and Maddie have is so sloppy that anybody can see. Because even Emma Frost was kind of like, like
And
like she knew what was going on.
I love that long distance storytelling
Yeah,
because she's definitely been
'cause
taking
you know
out what
it's
Scott's
coming.
been doing. Oh, bro,
She smells blood in the water.
can't wait. And again, another reason that I would love Schism and I'd love Gold Team and Blue Team because Scott and Gene are not on the same team. So, I'm an Emma Stan over here.
Okay, so moving away from the summers, even though that was juicy melodrama. I usually complain about melodrama and stuff, but that
This was
stuff's good.
hilarious.
That stuff,
And
well, it works. It worked. It
again,
fits.
it was paid it forward, right? We were complaining the first four that like Scott was really pretty okay with losing a wife, losing a kid,
I
and then
can't be here.
going to fight sentinels, and now we're seeing all the ramifications.
Yes.
No, man, like I wasn't not thinking about that. I just have a job, and my job sucks because all these humans are assholes, and I gotta go kill all these motherfuckers before they try to kill me. The moment I have a piece to think about shit, it all comes crashing down, right? So I
Mhm.
loved it. I loved it, man.
So moving on back to Genosha, the council there wants Magneto to take a seat. That's basically the whole premise of this episode is that they invite Magneto and he brings Rogue and Gambit with him. Well, Gambit tags along, and they want him to have a seat. Uh,
Yeah, what an awkward. Let me go with you guys to Genosha.
and he knew that he actually says it too. He's like Gambit tagged along, like he knew
Yeah,
exactly why. But
he's not wrong, but like you put yourself in awkward, and
yeah, yeah.
pussy gonna get you killed.
Was he gonna get killed? But Magneto doesn't accept it right away. He mulls it over because he still wants to uphold Xavier's dream and do what he thinks he's destined to do. Right.
Right.
This is where kind of the plot here kind of loses me because he's like it circles back to him only doing it if Rogue joins him, and then the focus kind of changes back to romance stuff. I'm like, can we just get with
He needs a queen.
the Magneto ideal he never did before?
Fine, but look, he may be the only one that sees the potential in Rogue because she can actually live out as a goddess under his kind of tutelage, where everyone else is like Rogue, you're already a weapon, and like you're distant, and then there's the whole gambit love of like I love you from afar, up close. Like I know I can never get to touch you the same way, but I still fucking love you, and it's deep, right? So as much as you hate it, this is the one storyline from the comics that's been a steady. Like Remy's always had a fucking hard on for Rogue and
Yeah.
had to learn how to love her and different ways that he can love her, but he's never kind of like abandoned her unless it was for whatever storyline purposes to be like, I can't love you anymore. So him going on that trip is like, I'm looking out for you because I still don't trust Magneto. And Magneto is, I think the whole ploy was, I see my mortality without a queen, and I'm trying this new way of living. Like I can't just be a warlord with my helmet and just run through shit. I need someone soft to kind of bring me through. And as much as Rogue's got an old lady voice, she is a youth. She ruined for me, yo. Whippets ruined it for me
I
every
know.
time I hear it.
I told her. I texted me the other day. I was like,
Ruined,
man, you ruined this for.
ruined. So every time I hear that old lady, I'm just like, look at her, look at her. Okay, she still got like this. I don't want to say naivety, but like she's one of the young players in I think that squad of like she's still hopeful for. She's still idealist, right? Like she's not ruined by so many experiences that have shaped her. Like she went from bad to good, and Magneto can see that, and Magneto's like, you can go even further from that, right? So I think there's a parallel in the fact that like Magneto's also trying to go from bad to good, and the best possible connection is Rogue. Not to mention, I got it in with her, and now I can get it in with her again. Like, don't forget that I think that man's lonely for a lot of different reasons,
Yeah,
and we're especially seeing now that Charles and Magneto don't get to play off of each other. They're looking for whoever I can play chess with.
that's a good point.
And I think Rogue's his favorite next up chess partner.
Completely agree with what you said about Remy and Anne Marie. Like, there, that's this is. I love that like he wants her so bad and
Hmm.
she loves him back, but they can't be physically intimate. I think that's such a cool
Dynamic and
dynamic, right?
yeah,
And but he's also like the player. He's never going to settle down,
yeah,
but he really wants her. Um, the part that really, I can't remember if I said this last time or not. The part that really bothers me about this whole thing is that, again, I'm linking because they say it's a continuation, so I'm linking it back to the original series. You mean to tell me that for 4 or 5 years, Magneto just pretended he didn't like Rogue, and now he's like, because they set it up like, oh, because you say it in this, right?
yeah,
She met him back before she was even in the X-Men,
yeah.
but because he loved her so much, he just let her go, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is, but now he's like all over like this. Come
That's that.
on, man.
That's the weird connection from the first complaint that I had about like this show is a continuation, but it's not really. It's a reboot, but it's not really. Like they they use it selectively of like you remember this, and then they wipe that about like okay, forget about what you know over here.
Yeah,
So
they
it
retconned it, but it's like, sorry to cut you off, but it's like, wouldn't that make more sense? Like, wouldn't it be more exciting for her if she just found out in this series, oh shoot, I can touch him?
they don't have enough episodes to do that.
But I know, but
I get what you're saying.
in
It
the
makes
early
total
episodes when he
sense.
takes over the team, they just brush by accident, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh wait, hold on a second, and then it kind of starts to blossom there. I find that a little more.
But you'd hate it if they started knocking boots in fucking Charles's school.
I wouldn't care, but it's like, I just, from a writing standpoint, it makes more sense to me because I'm like, okay, so then the old series, all those years when he was like a maniac, he had none of these feelings with Rogue.
Yeah.
It's like, look what you guys did. You don't have to do that. You didn't have to do that.
You're mad now,
So
but wait till those final three episodes when they start
yeah,
referencing a whole bunch of stuff that they probably already referenced in the first series.
yeah, we'll see.
The cheat code and the continuity of hey, remember this, but like don't remember all of this
All
is
right.
glaring by the time we hit the middle of the episodes that you have to kind of decide as a fan. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
nitpick in it, or I'm gonna go to the internet and be like, yeah, hey guys, remember when in episode season 2 13 where like all this shit happened. So it
yeah.
doesn't make sense, but it's got to make sense because
I can
that's
do
the
that.
new story that they're telling.
Good thing about this is I can do that here. I don't have to do no Twitter fingers. I can just be like, "Hey, Dad, do you remember when in '94 there was no romance at all, but now?" So what I think would be a little more interesting a dynamic for this triangle in particular, because I know I'm going to try to give constructive criticism now because I'm always like, "Oh, why is this way love triangles?" Gambit chasing Rogue, Rogue chasing Magneto, Magneto kind of being aloof about it.
Yeah,
I think that would be much more interesting.
because there was a line of dialogue where she said he pretended that uh, the love never happened, and so I followed suit and pretended the love didn't happen. So like that's their
Yes.
kind of cheat code of like it didn't happen. But I mean,
I don't know. I don't really buy that. I think they didn't have to do that at all. They could have just been like a new thing. Like, oh
and
my god, I can touch him.
and time out. Magneto's a god on this island. They have a fucking 60-foot statue of him. The
That's
dude could
wicked,
get
eh?
he could get pussy from anybody who really wants to get pussy.
That's what I mean. So why is he just be like, all right, but he likes the attention that she gives him eventually to go over. Like, we're on episode 5 here, right? So you could say it for 4 episodes, she's kind of like dropping hints, and he's kind of like, well, here.
I
I find that more interesting, especially if Gambit's chasing her.
I like that connection based off of the first original X-Men movie, which I hope they're not trying to connect these two worlds of animation and MCU, Fox U, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Of Magneto liked Rogue because he saw his immortality with her, and he was going to transfer his powers to her. That way, he could
I
live
forgot
forever.
about that. I forgot about that. Yeah,
That was a whole like, and that's how she got her
that's
white
a
streak
thing.
of the
The white
hair.
hair.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So you laugh at that, but I like the fact that he's like, I'm so old and kind of falling apart that I need someone to take on my legacy. And like, wasn't smart enough to just have kids. I guess in this world, we don't know if Wanda and Pietro are going to be part of that. It ergo the left, right, up, down, whatever, whatever, whatever. But I still like the fact that, in a sense, Magneto really likes her because she can't have anybody else, and she can only have him.
Mhm.
So like I'm that much more powerful because this really, and then we don't know the levels of Rogue's powers, right? We never really explored if she's Omega or not, or if she can get to Omega.
Yeah, they didn't.
She's
They never really
she's
said.
she's definitely very powerful, and if there's one thing about Magnus, he likes powerful allies. So
But in the comics, right? Because they borrow a lot of things from the comics. She eventually learns how to control
yep,
the absorption, right?
yep,
So then that kind of negates everything, and her and Herbie end up, happy as pigs of shit. But so I wish they had spent a little more time on the political aspect of it,
sure.
about him joining the council, and then they do that for a bit, and then it just kind of veers into like
Yeah,
more
we
dancing, right?
we don't get nearly enough time with the Hellfire Club and how
Yeah,
they
yeah,
really interact with this island and their influence over all of Mutant
and
Kingdom.
more Genosha, because it's like I want to see more interactions with Genosha. I want to see more of what's going on there, but they really zoom in on the Magneto Rogue thing again, and then so when it pops off at the ending,
Yeah.
because that giant, we'll just skip to it because nothing else really else happens, right?
Well, there's a whole bunch of appearances, and then the fact that
Yeah, we'll get to that though.
I keep stressing these should all be hour episodes. Just to imagine like a 30-minute fucking fight where you get to see all these different mutants pop up and
I was
get
just
wiped
gonna
out.
say that because if you take the exact same first what 20 minutes
Sure.
of this and
Mhm.
keep it the same, but then you extend that last scene by another 10 minutes, so it's
Mhm.
20 and then 20 rather
Yeah,
than 20 and then like 8.
yeah.
All of a sudden, you got an episode that has it's much more balanced. It's paced a lot better.
Because we laugh so hard when Cable shows up and then like disappears. We're like, oh,
Yeah, he's there for 30 seconds. Yeah.
he's like, oh no, there's
Yeah.
not enough time. I was like, fuck you, man. You in the future. Like, you
Then why
could
did we just watch a dance for 4 minutes when we could have had some? Like, come on, man! Like, the pacing is just not great in this.
It's like turn off the fireworks. Like you could come sooner. You waiting to the day of the party and be like, yo, there's fireworks around. Turn off the fireworks. The head's coming. It's like what? Like, there's a party planning committee and shit. Like they're all sitting at tables, being like, okay, so what do you guys want? You want like seafood and shit? Cable shows up. Hey man, sneak attacks.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
go. Peace. He shows up day of.
yeah.
Like fuck you, Cable. Like I can't wait to get beat by your dad. Just straight belt to the face.
I'm dying.
I also laughed that he phased like at a lower tier and like has to climb up to the
Yeah.
castle. So like I like think he spent like 13 minutes trying to
Just
find
running
the right way
upstairs.
up to get to Madeline. He's like, oh no, not enough time. Take off the fireworks. They know they're coming. It's like, ah, you idiot. Get
No,
a fucking plane.
take a left.
So like that again, that's where the writing fails because he's seemingly in touch with all the technology capable, all the history, all the understanding of what previously happened, and you can essentially drop him anywhere. But 13 seconds, like I got 3 seconds here. Hey mom, it's like I remember your eyes. Shut up, bitch. Get everybody out of here. I can't have a reunion with you. And don't go to your mom. Go to anybody
Yeah,
else.
anybody.
Go to fucking Nightcrawler. All of them. Take them to the cave now. Like transport. Like fuck. So I laughed, and then it was one of the greatest action scenes that
And
the
then
show has.
yeah, and
released.
then it's wild because that Godzilla-sized Sentinel shows up with the
Yeah.
3 heads, and it just
And it's got like a body of a cockroach. It's so
yeah,
fucking alarming and disjointed and like doesn't make sense to. And it was dropping like mini fucking sentinels out of its body. That's how huge it was. But the look of it was so. If I saw this, I would freak on the sheer like design of it because it seemed like amalgamation of different things that do not belong together
yeah.
and such a crazy look for what the future has to come. So all that shit, like I ate it up, man. Ate it up.
No, it was amazing. It was like,
Yeah.
whoa, where was this?
And I finally realized what I didn't get to say or we didn't get to talk about in the first 4 episodes. The animation anime style of this show is bar none. Like
It's
the
beautiful.
sequences and how they, like just the first speech of when Magneto's like, I don't remember the full stance, but like him talking about like Remy and go, right, like go rescue. We will not question how many mutant lives we intended to save. Like he has this big stance of it's like we're all in it, right? Like fight as hard you can. And just to see Remy jump on the bike and then Rogue start like super like speed flying, and just to see like the sequences of like just how they storyboarded that entire action sequence for when they first started, like, oh man, I was all in. Like that's the sequence, that's the trailer that you helped to sell this show.
Mhm.
Like these are what your essentially B level characters can do. And then look at Gambit make himself into an A character very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So the Wild Sentinel comes, kills everything. So in the comic books, that was Cassandra Nova.
Oh, really?
That was Cassandra Nova who kills. So that's why I was like, oh, it's gonna be Cassandra. Like they're gonna follow that because
Mm-hmm.
this show pulls a lot of story threads from comics, and it
Right.
pulls a lot from the old series. So it's really kind of cool how they amalgamate everything. I know I've been hard on it. I'm gonna keep being hard on it for a couple other things,
It's out of love, though.
but it's love. It's love. But
You're
like
beating yourself with the buckle of your belt. It's
yeah,
out of
because
love.
I expect a little more. Like I know
Yeah.
there's more potential
I don't
there.
want to hurt you, but this is for you. This hurts me more than it hurts
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Take this book to the
yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah.
My eye. You only need one.
Yeah. Write the characters like I want them.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the comics, she attacks Genosha and kills like 16 million or millions of mutants. In this one, a lot of people die, but they don't because there's a short runtime
Yeah.
on it's not really clear who dies and who doesn't. Like, did you know that Nightcrawler potentially died?
I
Right,
thought he
like
did,
he
but
was
then
like, yeah,
like
but it was weird, right?
really, social media was all over the fact that like Gambit dies and remember me
Yeah,
and
remember it.
remember it. My bad. No, remember. Yeah. Oh yeah. My name is Gambit. Remember it. And that one still of like when he's actually charging up the whole machine. So again,
Really cool.
makes me think that he's an Omega. If you can do that to a fucking tower of a Sentinel, goddamn. But the scene where he's center focus and you see the two eyes of the Sentinel and it goes all pink, I was like, is that Nimrod? And that was my first like, oh shit, like that shit's coming because Pink and Nimrod is kind of synonymous for me in terms
Mhm.
of enemies for villain for X Men, and the fact that he was painstakingly trying to keep Rogue out of the blast path, and the several different ways he did it, like goddamn, like MVP. So
Yeah, with the motorcycle, lights the motorcycle up, and
yeah, and then
then
launches it at her, and
yeah,
like knowing that it's not gonna fuck her up, but just take her out of this big beam blast. And I love like the Sentinel head shoots the beam and then turns immediately. It's like, nope,
yeah,
on to the next. It's like, god damn.
yeah.
Again, to
Although
your
you
point, I would have loved a 20-minute sequence of this goddamn mecha kaiju taking over Genosha and all these random mutants that we get to see for one time, and then like Leech will save the day.
yeah, I would,
Leech will help you. I love
I,
Leech, man. He's so, and he charged up Magneto. That's all cute and shit,
yeah,
man. Come on.
yeah, I would like to see more. Sounds gonna sound bad. Would like to see more mutants die because it's like oh, Madeline's dead and Magneto's dead and
Gambit's dead.
Gambit's. Oh, we saw Gambit. Gambit's dead. It's like well, but we
Who's the
didn't
queen of
see
the
the
Morlocks? She died.
Callisto. Yeah, we didn't.
Callisto's
They
dead.
just kind of
Yeah.
gets she gets fried with Leech, right?
Leech dead.
But there could have been so much more there. Like Magneto hitting him with hitting it with like, the subway train. That was
Like a belt, like a
why?
whip.
Yeah, like a belt.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah, that's so good, man. It's so good.
That was amazing. I like the Sentinel, the Wild Sentinel can be like Omega threat detected. Like it
Yep.
knew Magneto was
Yep.
Omega, and I'm like, done.
Thanks to Leech. I didn't know Leech could reverse. I thought he can only steal
Yeah, he
powers,
saps your powers. Yeah,
but he was charging them.
yeah,
Like he had
yeah,
this, I was like, and that's when Magneto was like, "I'm strong again," right? Like you get barrel chested and then started whipping shit at
yeah.
goddamn
Sure.
Sentinel. Um, I had a point about like just the fact that in the first 4 episodes you really see the gloves on with the X-Men, but these next 3 episodes they're all taking gloves off. They're like, we have to fight with full power now, and you
Yeah,
get to see
it's amazing.
how
Yeah,
full their powers are fighting, and it's so rewarding as a comic book geek fan.
But yeah, I would have liked to seen a bit more of who died and who didn't. Cameo count. Unless you got something else to say.
She sounds so old.
Oh, Roki. Whip it. Look what you done.
And
Yeah,
so heartbroken. Sorry, the final sequences where she's just holding him and saying, "I can't feel him anymore," was heart wrenching. So you could see why the internet was just like, "Oh my god, this is the best show ever."
it's so funny. Everybody's going off. I remember I was like, they know that they could just come back. You're like, yeah, they're new. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
At least I'm not. I'm not. I
yeah.
don't. Because sometimes I feel like I'm. Like I don't mean to be contrarian, but I'm just like I feel like I'm being like a downer, and everybody's like making jokes at a funeral, right? Because they're all like, oh, like I
Yeah.
saw this, like I was like, oh, this is the best show. I'm so sad. I never cried from a cartoon. I was like, well, you never seen Land Before Time. But secondly, like,
Hit it with a deep cut, little push.
but secondly, I'm like, that's why I had to like gut check. I was like, dang man, like you know, it's a Marvel show, right? You're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
yeah, they're new. I was like, that's all I needed. Okay, good. It's not just me. Okay,
That and they like the what's it? What's the vision where you can't see anywhere else? You're just looking
tunnel
completely
vision, tunnel vision.
the tunnel vision of just like, oh no, poor Remy. We're like Magneto's
Yeah,
dead. The meme I kept seeing about, when it's a parent holding their kid up in the pool and the other kid's like
yeah,
almost drowning, and they keep putting that as Magneto and like Nightcrawler's underwater. I was like,
yeah.
oh my god, I love the internet. The
They
internet
kind of like was bloody and like, and they're all like, yeah, fuck him. Damn it.
and like a bitch, bro. Your one power is to transport. When you see a green light, grab a hand and be like, let's go, let's go, let's
So
go.
what happened there? He missed it. I
I
wasn't quite clear.
guess
I thought he bamfed and then
I
like and then fell down like bleeding. And I was like, what
I
happened?
don't know, but now he's got two swords and he's in the title credits. So and conveniently he's their priest. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
the
He did
next
the
episode.
eulogy. Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah,
so he didn't die. Okay, never mind. There you go. I'm an idiot.
but
I'm busting out of orders.
he's always in the field of vision of like and he looks scared. I was like, come on, man, you got one job.
Just bamf, bro.
Yeah, do what Cable couldn't do. I got 10 seconds. I gotta like, mom, no, no. Like, fuck. And he owns time. Can he just come back again? Oh, I can't wait for the final 3 episodes because I'm just gonna keep talking about time. But like reset,
Oh,
just
they start
reset.
messing with time and it's bad.
You know what's gonna be. You read the final. Anyway, we'll get there. We get
Okay,
there.
cameo count. Mystique,
Mistake. Are you sure? Are
Avalanche.
you sure it was her? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in during Rogue's flashback. There's
Okay. Oh yeah.
Mystique and Avalanche is in it, where she saps Avalanche and blows the rock.
Yeah.
Um,
Brotherhood's mutant.
Moira's in this. Moira's in this on the council. Multiple
True.
Man,
Yeah.
Exodus. We'll get to Exodus. Exodus,
God, what
Friends,
a waste. Fucking waste.
Exodus, and Frenzy are dancing. There's Archangel. Nature Girl is the one I didn't know. She's the one who turns to the
Okay.
green parrot.
Right. Oh.
The horns, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nature Girl. Glob, I was happy to see him. That's why
Yes,
I was
indeed.
joking. So we texted after this. So I was like, yo, I was pretending like I was mad because they didn't have Glob cook anything.
I was like, but we got Glob. He's like, I don't care. He was in the kitchen.
And I was
Glob.
downplaying on purpose just to be a dick.
Mhm.
And you're like,
Good at
hey, this guy's mad about this.
Yeah.
Boom Boom, Squid Boy, Rain Boy, Blink, Pixie, Tommy. I had to look this up, but Loa is there too. She falls into the fountain. Dazzler,
That's false. Okay.
Dazzler, Banshee, Azazel. So that's Nightcrawler's dad.
Dad. Yeah. Does he know that by this point?
Yeah, they must.
I don't know.
They must. I don't know. Sebastian Shaw, of
I know.
course. Yeah.
And Azazel can also bamf. No.
Yep.
All right. So I like to be hopeful that he took a select few. Took some bunker.
Sebastian Shaw, Emma Frost, Callisto, The Watcher.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
You
caught
showed
that.
me
I
that.
saw that.
I
Yeah.
didn't see that the first time. I
I
watched
saw
it
that. I was like,
again. Yeah.
wait a minute.
You called
And
it. I was like, oh
yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
And Bo DeMaio.
He's in it.
There's a cut where the dude with the blonde hair.
I mean, he's got like a boyfriend too, and then they get.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, but he was.
There's two dudes next to each other. They're really close, and I was like, oh, and there's
Oh,
right in
maybe.
front of it.
I didn't know that
You're like-
connection.
You get wedged out, and I was like, it was like agenda.
But yeah, but it was right when the Wild Sentinels attack, and he's kind of like they do a cutscene, and
Yep.
why it stands out is because they give him center screen. I was like, who's this guy? And I was like,
Right.
oh, you know what? And then I remember seeing a picture, so I'm pretty sure it's Bo DeMaio.
I was like Spike. I was like,
The
it's
right.
not Spike.
Yeah, no, there's a lot in this. And I
I
had to
mean,
help.
you're on an
I
island of
actually
mutants.
needed the internet to help me a couple times. It would have been cool to see No Girl. I think No Girl's hilarious, but they didn't put her in there.
But like that's the point of what we're getting to see. If they use those cameras to show all those people, then she's on the map at some point.
Yeah,
We're gonna get to see these guys that we never thought we were going to
yeah.
see.
Because as soon as I see Rainbow, I expect to see the other little rag. What are they called? The group from
Lost.
Lost Squad or something like that.
So there's another word. Lost group, lost troop.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, episode 6, Life Death Part 2.
So we get
Okay.
Nightcrawler gets the title card, which is awesome.
Yes, but then he's not in this episode. Oh no, he does the eulogy. Sorry.
And then Gambit's out of the title card, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
So expect to see that happening a lot for this series. They're gonna start mixing up who's on the team or who's just available.
Okay, so you called the cheat code from the first episode.
Right?
Here it is.
Yep.
Space.
God damn.
All capitals. My first note is space.
Space. Fucking MCU.
So where Lilandra and Charles announced their wedding to basically the entire galaxy. And that draws suspicion.
Chuck's a freak.
Wow.
He
But him and
gives a damn-
Lilandra goes see this one goes back to the original series, and it makes sense that she would want, because she loves this guy. Obsessed with him. I don't know. It's something about in the past episodes. It was like in the old episodes. She just she just finds him so fascinating.
She came to him in his dreams that turned to nightmares. He'd wake up in bloody sweats.
That's right.
screaming.
Yeah. Who are you?
And she's like,
And that's when she had the helmet on. She didn't take the helmet off to the ending.
so like, what a bitch move. Because you could have been like, I'm a hot girl. Come look at me. He's like,
no.
no.
She came to his dream looking like a Beetleborg or something.
Fucking with him. And then she's like, all right, I'll save you.
Yeah.
He saved. I guess.
No, yeah, I'm a Beetleborg. I'm not this hot chick.
You made 2 references to Beetleborg.
Oh, I think you missed the first one. I was trying to slip that in.
They're great.
I got no reactions. I was like, no,
I just don't want to. I don't want to go to Beetleborg tent. Right? Because we are. Because they got that Jay Leno fucking.
Oh my god, I forgot about that dude.
And he's the comic relief, but also the Zordon.
He was like an ooze, but not.
No, he's a good guy. He's their Zordon.
Wait,
he's
who's the villain then?
They had the.
I didn't watch it.
So then, how you? Oh, fine.
My
Now going to
brother
red.
watched- my
One
younger
thing
brother
they want to
watched.
do.
My younger brother watched.
They lived. So they had to go to this haunted house, and the haunted
Okay, so I
house.
knew that one, and then they get the Beatles.
And there's always they have the 4 monsters in there. So there's always a Frankenstein, a Dracula,
that's right.
Wolfman,
Yes,
and a mummy. Yeah. And that Jay Leno dude was kind of the in between to be like, don't eat these kids, but that's how they learn to get these powers and find these people. It didn't make any sense.
No,
Those
that's
two worlds did not cross over.
I was gonna say that's.
But I watched enough to be like, they had to get these scarabs, and that's how they could transform into the big bad Beetleborgs.
But then, like, if I had to choose between that and Mummy's Alive all the way.
Yeah, well, you can start the campaign for live action Mummies Alive.
Yeah, no, it's not. Honestly, like, I need Mummy's Alive 97. I don't know what year it ended. I was like,
so we do the power ranking where we just put 97 on all the shit
everything.
we want to see now.
All the shows you want to see. Mummy's Alive, Street Shark,
I need a Iron Man 97.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Bring
So
back
I'm going
Grey
off.
Gargoyle. I want Gargoyle 97. I want Whirlwind 97. I want Sentry 97. I want all that rogues gallery.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to it. I think because we don't want to talk about this.
I don't mind this episode because we get 2 things that we needed to happen. X needs to return, and Rogue needs to return. So
Rogue's not really in this though, is she?
Sorry, not Rogue. Storm needs to
return.
My mistake.
Oh.
Don't say that. She got her powers back, and she got her lace front, and she got her.
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about Charles, or you want to talk about Storm?
Which one do you dislike more?
Storm.
Let's talk about Storm.
Absolutely hate what they did with this story. I hate it. I hate it all.
Do you hate the fact that we don't know who the villain is in that? Because it's not Shadow King?
No, I thought it was Shadow King. I'm not. No, I hate how dumb her story was.
But again, that's therapy. Like, you always had the power. No one can take the power away from you. You have to realize that.
Yeah, but so basically they just wanted her out of the way. The I'm going to say the writers. They want her out of the way.
She's one of the most powerful mutants on the team. So yeah.
So if she was in Genosha, she would have died, is what they're saying. Or changed the tides.
Or left. I can fly, guys. So loud.
But no, it's just, I think it's just a cheap way to, like, that's the story you give her, is I actually had the power myself the whole time. It's like, okay.
I think So I'm gonna try and make the case for it, even though it's gonna be completely hard. I think you have to make the case for Forge, or like the intro for Forge.
Oh,
They're
Doctor
better.
Strange.
Yeah, I made that joke. How dare you?
I
How dare you say my
but
joke?
you
It's building
defend
up to it.
I just
And the Book of Ashanti. So like, and again, that's another fear because you mentioned Cassandra. What's her
Nova.
name? Nova, and then we have another MCU relic, and Deadpool is talking about Deadpool 3 is talking about Cassandra also
Yeah,
potentially
she's the
being
main. No,
in
well,
it.
not potentially. She'll be in it. Yeah.
So I'm hoping they don't cross streams and like they just do two iterations of this one character as opposed to it exists in both, so it must be the I don't want that. But we need Forge in some way because as much as I hate to say it, this 97 first season is a future season. It's really about Cable, Bishop, and Forge. And as much as Bishop got shortchanged, as much as we haven't seen Cable, you need to establish Forge because Forge is kind of their Professor X in the future.
Hmm.
Again, I can't say they did it the best way because he fell in
I
love.
was just, just gonna say you can do all this without the whole love story. At
But
least right now, you could do that.
the one line of dialogue that is probably the most damaging is how much he funded the technology that is
Mm.
essentially going to destroy him. So I expect that to come back around full circle. And the fact that he's mortal, like he gets hit bad, I don't know if Forge is going to survive as much as this future team is going to need him. Um, but yes, Storm got shortchanged on what they could have done with her, but I'm happy to see her back and more powerful. I don't know how she's going to integrate herself back into the team because she lost a lot of things that made sense to her, and she's got to play catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these characters, when we talk about Professor X stuff, they got to play catch up, and they're not really in communication with the people that they should be as a team, which is super weird. And the fact that Madeline and Storm haven't been mental connected and talking is super weird, especially of how powerful Madeline is, because Storm talks in great lengths to how Jean and Madeline, quote unquote, are her sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And you would assume if my sister is in like distress and like her last legs, she'd be sending out fucking last messages to all these type of people. I wouldn't expect Storm to have to turn on the TV and be like, "Yo, Genosha's on fire." So short change, yes, but I think they have to set up the fact that she's all powerful and nothing can take that away from her. But she's going to take a hit from everything that she thought was solid in her life. And
Yes.
Forge,
So I like. We're both fans of Forge. Like we like. I
we're both fans of Storm.
yeah. Well, we're both big fans of Storm. Like
Yeah.
that. Like I love Storm. I like Forge, but I love Storm.
To your credit, that what you're probably going to say, they both got super shortchanged in this episode and the first one. Again, I don't
Yeah.
know how this is two halves of a full story, and it's not even a full story. But
Like I have nitpicks of this and that, but I think this was just like just a bad arc. Like
sure.
just not good. Like I think even the Jubilee and Sunspot thing makes a bit more sense than this. Like because there's just two kids playing fun and then they bond, right?
And
I
then
said I
Cable.
didn't like that
Yeah.
much because it was very short, but I mean at least it kind of made more sense. This is like if you wanted to remove Aurora from the lineup, why
You have so many
wouldn't you?
different ways to do it. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like the first thing that comes to my mind is why wouldn't you send her to like not her where she was because she was raised in like Egypt, right? It was I know her mother's Kenyan and
Possibly.
her
I'm
dad's
glad you didn't
American.
say tell her to go back to Africa because that would have got
Oh
played completely
no,
different.
no, I don't need that soundbite on my conscience.
You
But
just say it differently because there's already rumors talking about how they potentially in future seasons will have Spider-Man and Black Panther, and I don't want to jump the gun on all that
yeah,
stuff.
I don't care about that right now. But like
Having the goddess return to the continent isn't a
non
bad way.
non mutant cameos, I don't really care about. I'll be honest with you. Like, this is X Men. I don't.
Sure.
Who cares? If but if she felt like oh I get some soul searching or something brought her out to where she grew up where she had some ties and then she has to deal with an issue there that where she can't use her powers. That's more interesting than oh I've lost my powers from a magical gun, but actually they're inside me the whole time, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't like. Why don't you put her in a situation where she still has powers but she can't really use them, like she's underground or something? Like you know what I mean? Like that's more interesting to me. Anyways, they already do it in a weird way. They take away her powers, which I from jump I was like, I hated
I don't like this.
this,
Yeah, you know.
but I'm gonna let it ride and see where it goes. Didn't go anywhere. So you do that, then you push Forge in there, which is fine because he's kind of the guiding light. But then there's like the whole love thing. I'm like, why are they falling in love? How long has this been? 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I love you. The first
We
time,
don't
and
know.
she's
We can't say
we
that
don't
anymore.
know. You're right.
We
We
don't
don't
know the
know.
span of time. So
But it
like we'll
can't be
give them that.
longer. It can't be longer than what the X Men is going through,
Fair enough.
right? So, and that's I'll say 2 weeks.
Sure.
I'll say that just because I don't know it. They don't say.
The
He's in love
next
with
day,
her,
I love you, babe.
and then she's like, and the next day he's like, I'm gonna love you, and then she's like, I love you, and it's like, what is? Meanwhile, the whole collar thing where he was like she has reasons to hate this man.
Yes.
Like not only does she not know him, but she now has a reason to hate him. But
Correct.
he's, then I don't know. There's the
And then
adversary, which I thought was a Shadow King, but he's just demon.
that's what irked me a lot. The fact that they didn't put a name on the villain, and it's like, well, like you have such a deep rogue gallery, and you just gave it to a
Yeah,
random bird that we're never really gonna know what it is.
no, just
And two,
demon.
for the science man, you gave him magic. Fuck off.
That's right. Yeah, that was that. You got me with that because that
Yeah,
Doctor Strange line was yours because I was bitching about this on text and you're like,
but
and now I'm Doctor Strange.
it turned into Thor, God and Love,
Yeah,
or because it was just like, okay, love and magic, that makes sense. It's like, wait, no. This is a man of science. Like he's dedicated his entire life to science. Like, I got this book.
yeah. I got
It's
this
like,
book.
no,
Just magics them away.
no, Forge, no. And then it didn't even work. So like the magic was fraud. So like her whole arc was just fraudulent on the fact that like. So I would love it if I just popped in my brain now. This was all like a fabric of her imagination, and like she's
Yeah,
somewhere, just like someone actually like dripping her brain out, kind of thing. Like, oh, it's all in your head.
that would have been better than this.
Well, that makes more sense based on what you're telling me, because the
Yeah,
bird is supposed to be an adversary, but it's not really real. But it is real. But it's you need magic to stop it, and then magic doesn't really stop it. But you can't be afraid of it because you can easily conquer it.
and
None of
it was right because he's like how Forge deserves anger because he created the thing. So
yeah,
that could be her inner. My I'm looking at that. That could be her inner
right.
self telling her to hate it, right? Like what you're saying. So she was just
Okay,
mind
right.
tripping. It makes perfect sense because
Sure.
it knew all her secrets.
But
Anyways, go ahead.
you give this fucking man like he on the same wavelength of Beast, who's just a man of science to the
Mhm.
point that like I've archetyped my hand and my legs and how I live to go up to his bookshelf and be like, I got a book. And if I read the book, I get the
Book,
orange rings. I was like, no,
book of
man,
Ashanti.
no, you got the book of Ashanti. So it's like you really kneecapped two pivotal characters
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of X Men. Like you'll always have Storm fans for like who she is and what she does and what she represents, but the people that love Forge is for like what this guy's had to endure for many generations and like how he's always been connected to great X Men like Bishop and Cable
And
and
Storm. They do have romance in the comics, to be fair.
Fair and like Summers like Krakoa like that guy's one of the archetypes of like how
Yeah.
the vault stuff all that stuff's amazing of just like how the island works, right? So to just resort him to be like I gotta use this book of magic. It was like, oh no,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is where I wash my hands.
Talk about out of character, right? Like
Talk about not your character. It's like, wait, let me go get my cape. I fly now.
oh wait. Beast, okay?
Yeah.
He knows hocus pocus. It's like, oh come on, man. The guy's like anyways.
call call me by my government name, Supreme Sorcerer Forge. Like, what? Where did this? Where?
I am
Why?
actually Wong.
Just the face mask, just the Mission
yeah,
Impossible.
yeah.
So that's what scared me about that specific episode. That they are very intent on crossing streams and bringing this version of X Men into the MCU because they keep giving us
Yeah, you
these
keep
little.
saying that you
I'm so scared that it's going to happen because inevitably X Men are coming. Great,
yes.
but you can do so many different iterations of X Men that I would always be happy. You can literally have 3 different beasts and they all exist
Yeah.
because there's scary beast, dark beast, and like asshole beast, and they're all different versions of them. There's Kelsey Grammer beast. There's again right. So I'm over MCU trying to have a continuity where everything fits and everything lines up for a big bad. You blew it. You did it amazing one time, and then you blew your load on the second time. And now with X Men, be very careful
Yeah. I agree with you
be,
by the way. I don't want that either. Go ahead.
because you're crossing into like the show brings a level of joy and a level of geek that we haven't really discussed on any of the MCU projects because we have such a deep foundation for the lore and we watch this growing up. So if you're just gonna shoehorn, like if you're just it's all preparation, just shoehorn shit in with time and parallel dimensions, no, like that's where somebody, one of the higher ups, definitely loses a job because I don't want that. Like leave, let this be this,
Yeah,
and you do something else.
I can't agree more. Like I do not like. We don't need more crossovers. We don't
No.
just leave it.
We're getting so
Especially
many crossovers in this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's more
Just
than
leave
enough.
that. Let this be because this is already continuation of
Yep.
something. Now you're gonna force it. So now what you're trying, what in that scenario would be the MCU crossing over with X-Men from '94. It's like
What? Yeah, and then
no, we don't need that. We don't need that.
you
Let's
gotta
not
do
do
all
that.
this time weird stuff, and I don't want to do that.
No.
And again, in the comments, if you know when Forge has used magic, please let me know. And I'm not talking about Colossus's sister because I don't know that also went down. Iliana! She's coming.
Yeah.
Space
So that was like a legit.
ground.
I think it's the worst part of the show is the whole Storm arc, how they've handled her because she was so dope in the first two episodes. So dope in the first two episodes. They made her like be so powerful, and then she takes the bullet for Magneto and stuff like that. But what they did from her from that point on is just what are you doing?
What's the weaker episode? Episode 4, Nintendo Life Death Part 1, or episode 6, Life Death Part 2?
For
Okay, fair.
because that's where it all started.
Yeah. And then you get Mojo for reasons.
yeah, for reasons.
I'm skinny.
Yeah,
I'm fat again.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
And then
Yeah.
that was it. At least this one, the space stuff wasn't horrible. It's kind of dumb how it wraps up, but I liked where I liked where it was going, and then it just goes the other way, and it's like what? Just exactly what happened with the last episode. Like, no, come on, man.
Well, tell me more since we're talking about space now.
Yeah, so Charles and Lalandra are getting married,
Hey,
and they announced it to the whole galaxy because I guess that's what you do up there.
their galaxy, they're like their world. What's the Lalandra race? The Shi'ar.
Shi'ar.
Yeah, that's to the Shi'ar. Yes.
Yeah.
We find out that the Shi'ar views Charles as Lalandra's little pet, and that Charles wouldn't mind doing that later in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And Lalandra's like, "Don't bark now. Be good." So they're both freaks. Nice
Would
thing.
you? Let me ask you. Would you?
Would I freak Lalandra? Maybe.
Deathbird, man.
Yeah.
She's got that sass. I like that.
When she called us ghetto,
Yeah,
everyone in Make
yeah.
It Ghetto, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, keep talking that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep talking that shit.
Break it down.
I love a woman with sass. Anyways, would you consider Charles like a good speaker? Like not from this episode, just in general. Like he knows what he's about to say. Like would you consider him the type of person that fumbles over his words? Because in this,
I would say that more. I don't think he's a confident speaker, but I think he like knows his shit.
yeah. So in this one, he's like how he just like drops that bomb with Deathbird. He's like, where we decide because okay, so Deathbird is Lalandra's sister, as anybody, all the nerds know, and she objects to the marriage,
Yep.
the idea of it because
He's tearing.
Nobody likes Earthlings because we're
weak.
ghetto. We're ghetto and weak.
Go back to Earth.
Yeah, go back to it took her.
Taking no jails.
And he fumbles when he's talking to her. He's like, "Who will we marry and where we choose to live is up to us." I was like, "Why would you say that? Why would you say that?" Like, well, he wasn't prepared for this, but he fumbled that one, and she's kind of like, and she just jumps on it. He's like, "Well, that's not what I meant." And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm cool with riding with it, but I don't know. I'm like, I don't think Charles would flub that. Like, he wouldn't say that. I don't think, but. I'm leaning on this because he's a fish out of water right now. He's in a weird situation.
That's what I like about it. The fact that he's so out of pocket, he doesn't know, he doesn't have anything to rely on.
Yeah,
and I don't know what he's been doing all this time other than like testing out these Android boots and just walking. Yeah, he's been knocking boots and like I got legs again and like walking around like he's got a Power Ranger. But I don't think he's like studying, right? Like this is the first time where he's treated as the invalid. Like he's the trophy one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So like he don't have to do no homework, and he just assumed in his right mind he assumed everything on Earth was just gonna be fine. Again, not telling them that like my first student's clone. That Magneto's going to take over.
One of you. It's not.
That that like there's more dangerous avenues than I've ever been before, and me leaving is definitely going to be a problem. Like he didn't really set up a contingency plan. He's just like, my brain hurts. I
Yeah.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh, wifey, I got hip to this, and then kept like caught off balance with someone who's finally been like, you don't belong here, which is kind of true.
Yep.
I don't know if you're worthy of Lilandra, which is kind of true. I'm not sure if this marriage is what it needs to be because he automatically becomes royalty, right? If he gets it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. She's a queen.
yeah.
So or empress, right?
And
So
my question to you is Charles a king? I tried to say that as sassy as possible.
no, but by proxy he would be if he marries her, right? And
I get
actually,
that, but like, if you don't view this guy to be of the like, I see Magneto more regal than I do
I was
Charles.
just gonna say that
Okay,
he's too soft to be a king, whereas Magneto
okay.
would thrive. Um, this version of Deathbird is actually I like her more than her comic because in the comic she's just a full out bitch. In this she's actually more like
She makes sense.
yeah, yeah, and she's aggressive, but she knows what she's talking about, right?
Super militant, and then took down Ronan the Accuser, which is awesome to see Ronan the
You see,
Accuser.
Vulcan was there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I want to say anything because I was like, yeah.
that Leo DiCaprio. Movie?
I was like, like, wait a minute. So I'm expect to see Starjammers,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then expect that Havoc's gonna be fucking eating dirt somewhere.
Where is he
Fucking loser.
chasing Polaris around somewhere?
No, you wait till he finds Madeline somehow. Her old bones are like, oh yeah, Goblin Queen.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's
Oh
right.
yeah, oh yeah.
That's right. That's gonna. That's
And
gonna. Oh, these writers won't be able to help themselves.
but
They're bringing him in and
that's
making
the
him.
weird and interesting about this show. The fact that it's aimed for more adults, and the fact that they're giving us these so many little tangents. You can go so many weird and twisted ways with what X-Men have done, and you've already kind of introduced and opened the door to weird and twisted. That like I kind of see them being like, you know what? Let's bring Havoc in.
No,
Let's
that's what I'm
make
saying.
him.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. These writers, these writers here, we watched them for 6, 7 episodes now. There's no way they can't resist this. They got to make a love square. Oh, come on, they're gonna be all over this, man.
Good lord.
Yeah. So they have to prove themselves that he has to make a sacrifice and basically give up Earth and his X-Men team.
So
To,
can you just say yes and lie to them because you a big brain?
yeah, that's what I was.
Just lie,
And then
lie to
you can just communicate with your
wife,
fiance or wife
and your ex may be like, I'm just gonna say something about you guys, but it's not true.
be like, yeah, exactly. So I'm just
How
gonna
many? How many? Coke, tell them how many successful marriages start off on lies?
no,
All of them.
yeah.
What
If
lies are necessary to marriage.
if you're not lying to your significant other,
You're
you're
lying to
not doing it
yourself.
right. You're not doing it right.
You're lying to yourself. Somebody's gotta get lied to. Okay.
Right.
So like that one nugget kind of ruined that part of this episode for me too, because I get that Charles is supposed to be the morality, but he threw that away when he went to space. So
Yeah.
you're like, I'm just gonna lie
Yeah.
to you. Yeah, I'll give him up. Hey X-Men, I never really gave you
Yeah.
up. I
Listen,
still love you.
listen.
Like right? Like
In the mind, right? Listen, babe. I'm gonna go along with everything they say here, but I really don't intend to forget these people. Okay,
or
and,
be
and she'd be like, "All right,
or be a complete dirtbag and be like, hey Warbird, I'm in your brain and I'm gonna talk to you. I love Charles Xavier.
oh yeah,
He
just
should
mind
be
them."
my brother-in-law. Like he's done that so many times. He's one of the most powerful mutants. Just lie to these people.
These are the droids you're looking for. Oh, okay.
Exactly. I am not the handicapped man you want. You want my brother or my sister who's still alive.
So, anyways, he actually is honest throughout this whole thing and gets challenged to this ritual that they have, and
Snoo
before he can
snoo.
death
Death
by
by
snooze snoo,
snoo.
and before he can like what's the word I'm looking for? Not disallow, just kind of like
Disown, say no.
disown his
His precious
planet
X-Men.
and
Yeah.
his team. everything falls apart, and he mentally goes, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna go like just like
He
you
rem-
said,
he
full.
remembers he's a
Yeah,
mutant and a fucking X-Men and be like,
yeah.
hey, come with me.
Wait a second, I'm really really powerful telepath, so I'm just gonna put everybody in a classroom and I'm gonna tell them how it is, and they are winning that
Yes.
argument. Just want to say, you want me to keep going?
No, I was gonna say, was it necessary that he had to phase an apple for him to fake
Yeah,
eat in that, or can he actually materialize food and ingest it? Because like that's amazing if you can do that.
no, you can't. No, he's just that's in his
So
mind.
that was just like
It's all
a
for
show
show.
off move.
Yeah,
But they're space people.
yeah. They don't
Do
know what
they
that is.
even know what a fucking apple is?
No,
You
probably not.
idiot!
Maybe that's
You've been.
maybe that was the turning point. Like, what is that? I'm gonna listen to this guy.
And he throws it in who like Galactus' mouth or something, or Warbird's mouth.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
right. Yeah.
pipe down. You've been there weeks. Why use the crazy arachna weird like worm food apple that they have? Like
Yeah,
those for me, those are the weird details. That's like,
that's an
why would
interesting
he
point.
use
Yeah,
things that he recognizes? You would use things that they recognize because you're trying to teach them. You're speaking to their language. That's why you're using remedial pictures on a chalkboard. Why would you use an apple unless apples are universal?
maybe he's trying to intimidate them.
He
I
can't
don't know.
walk.
I don't
Are
know.
you,
I'm
are
trying.
you,
I'm
are
trying
you
to defend
intimidated
him,
by a
but
bald head that can't walk? He can't
no,
walk.
no.
He needed them to walk. Heal.
So it's going well.
Is it? Do you
They're
think he
about,
was winning him over?
yeah,
Okay.
because Lilandra said as much. He's like, you almost have convinced them, but if you leave now,
But that's wifey. That's a wifey lie. Like
man, that's good. Could
you
be
convince like two guards, but like my sister don't give a
two
fuck about
guards.
you. And those old dudes are like, "Who is this bitch? Like, where was I? That was dirty, Tyrion."
Look,
Like they're just walking off.
Araki.
Yeah. And then Guardian's like, "I don't care. Like, who do I got beat up?"
Guardian was
So
funny.
I'm not giving him props, but
No,
I'm giving
like
him props in this one.
he had a couple good lines. So.
Yeah, he did. He was good. Well, I liked him jumping around like that first where he just shows up and stops on the bullets. I was like, "You goddamn Superman,
It's
do your
Superman.
super shit.
It's
Do
just
your super shit.
Yeah, it's
Just do your
just
super
Superman.
shit. Do what you came to do."
I like your line is like, if you have Gladiator, why do you need the whole guard?
You don't.
You just need him.
You just be Gladiator. Goddamn. Space don't make sense to me. It hurts my brain.
But yeah, he gets Charles gets the vision of Gambit dying, and then he completely melts down.
Yeah.
Like just yeah, my X Men. I've got to go. My X Men. Ah.
I wish it was like a 20-minute cut of just like and it just echoes through space and just hear him screaming. It's like I can't do it. It's like you
And then he
do it.
bails. He bails on the wedding. He bails on Shi'ar. He bails on everything.
So she was right. Are we printing up Magneto was right t-shirts and
Deathbird was right.
Deathbird was right? I called it
Yeah.
Warbird a couple times. Deathbird was right.
Deathbird was right.
Deathbird is hot and right.
Cameo count. Deathbird, Ronan, we've talked about them already. Gladiator, Vulcan, Shi'ar Guard, Lord Araki, the Adversary. We've talked about all of them, so wasn't that great of cameos. But
Just to see Ronan was fucking huge.
that was
but,
cool, yeah.
And then to see all of these Kree soldiers and stuff, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, you can do the. But in the corner of the eye, when you in the background, you just see like, yo, that can't be. When it was Vulcan, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, they gave him a quick 2-second panel. I was like, what?
God damn it! I was like, oh, and that may be the saving grace to this series. The random cameos of just like bring them back, and then they just wait to see who on the internet is like, I know you guys put out, tick, 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 tick. I know you guys put their Vulcan. Can you make him appear for season 2? Right?
Yeah.
Man, and Vulcan's Omega level.
Yeah. Those summers boys, I tell you.
They got that seed, except for Havoc. Except for Havoc.
Okay, episode 7. Bright Eyes.
Old lady mad.
So I've had a lot of nitpicks. This is probably the best episode so far.
For character arc? For
In general,
action?
I enjoyed
For
this episode on
power?
first watch more than I enjoyed any other one,
For
except
a
maybe the
taste of
first
things
one.
to come? I'm
Yeah.
starting to list now. For things that we don't even know were on the map, like OZT? Like, goddamn.
Yeah, what's cool with this is that it deals. Well, there's a lot of things, but it deals with the direct fallout of episode 5. Remember it? And Rogue is on this one-person rampage after she believes Gambit and Magneto are both dead.
Yes.
She's just like switched off.
And I guess Nightcrawler. Oh no, she would have went back with okay.
Yeah, she knows he's alive.
But she's so happy to see him when they meet in Madripoor.
Yeah, because she was lost and he came
Yeah,
in.
okay, that's
But the two men that she has feelings for both died at the same moment. So
what a terrible threesome.
she's that
Shitting,
would be
shitting on them all.
yeah.
So after that, shitted on a bitch.
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, gee. I love that skit though. Come on.
Okay, so she's on a one-person rampage, and the rest of the X-Men are at Genosha still clearing the rubble and trying to find survivors. The only one they find is Emma Frost, who has learned her diamond ability.
They also find Strong Guy.
He was already there, wasn't he?
I know, but Strong Guy is in a fucking episode.
Yeah, he's of course in the cameo count, but you already jumped out. I was excited because I was like, oh, Dank's gonna like this. Dank's gonna like
I
this.
really did. I did them jumping the wheel about Strong Guy.
Yeah, strong guy. Yeah.
Shout out to Strong Guy fans.
Yeah.
Waiting for more free
Where
Transformers.
you at? All 12 of you.
Well, the guy that wrote Strong Guy and the guy
And
that
you.
colored Strong Guy. Yeah, and me. That's the three of us.
And then Tank Guy. Where's Tank?
They're coming.
Tank?
They're coming.
I like how you like the character that's just named something guy.
Yeah.
Tank Guy.
Hair guy.
Tank Guy.
Hairball. Leech. Airbag.
Airbag.
I forget his name because he's terrible. And they made him terrible. But I can't wait. I can't wait for him to come back. And Leech must return.
You have the worst. Imagine that team assemble.
Bro, Strong Guy, Hairbag, Leech,
Airbag.
Airbag. That's a murderer's row. Get out of here.
Yeah,
and Havoc.
It's grimy. It's grimy.
Led by Havoc. Havoc got lead though.
Okay, so
That's my new Hellions.
Up until this point, Emma Frost didn't have her diamond ability, which is kind of cool that she has it now.
So she put the lipstick on after she turned diamond?
Did she?
She got red lips on top of the diamond.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't work for me.
She's camera ready, but
That doesn't work for me.
lipstick gonna get you killed?
That's too bad. Worst episode ever. No glob cooking, no lipstick.
No Strong Guy doing more than one strong thing. Get ready for war.
Your name is Strong Guy. Do strong things.
More strong things, not just one strong thing, several strong things.
Okay.
Can't wait for more strong things.
Okay. Trisha Tilsby is really pissing all the X-Men off.
We have not talked about Trisha Tilsby at all. Are we doing a... Do you want to do a profile on how this bitch is just ruining the lives
one by one
and the sanity of all the X-Men? Why they keep giving her exclusive interviews?
I don't know. Because she pissed off Cyclops by calling him a liar after
Who did she sleep with to get this exclusive?
Now she pissed off Beast. How are you going to piss off Cyclops and Beast in the same week?
Cyclops is easy because he's going through a whole bunch of shit.
Beast?
But Beast? Yeah.
I'm getting hints of Dark Beast here, and I was like, oh. And I don't know if they are hints, but I'm just like, yeah, that's me going. Me going, yes, get angry, get evil.
They were hand in hand, and she said the wrong line. Like, oh,
that was it. One line. He was kind of like, okay.
But for Beak's, sorry, not Beak, and maybe we'll get Beak at one point. For Beast's character arc, for him to now see that not all the humans, as much as he wants them to be, are in his favor. Again, they're all leaning to Magneto's red, and I really appreciate that. All the blue squad is like, yo, we're Magneto's team.
What's cool about that is they're turning to Magneto is right, while Magneto is trying to not be his old self.
Yeah.
So because they kind of like pull him back, like, listen, you were right, bro.
When he returns, he's coming. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
What was I saying?
We talk about Trish and how she just keeps fumbling the bag with the one set of mutants that will talk to you and help you, give you kind of exclusives, and you not doing a good job.
She needs to stop talking to these people because she's gonna piss them. She's gonna piss off Jean next or something. She's gonna piss off Jubilee.
What do you mean these people?
That's these mutants. They're not people.
My mother named me Airbag.
Did you notice that there's this line where Wolverine's talking and the guy who plays him, Carl Dodd, he's Irish, and you get the Irish accent comes through. He's like,
"Are you gonna ruin Wolverine for me now?"
No, because he's like, oh, what was the line? It was in one of the old episodes we just covered. He's like, Yeah, but there's toffle there. It's like, wait a second. That sounded really Irish. If you go, I don't remember which one. I think he was talking to Jane. It cracked me up, man. Wait a second, that's not an Albertan accent. So the hairbag thing just reminded me of that.
Well, history books from the turn of the century are very spotty in Alberta, so we don't know how many
Yeah, fair enough.
Irish Britons were out there. But that was good. That was really good, Coke.
Psych and Jean maybe are trying to force their reconnection. Maybe a little too much. Still having a bit of trouble trying to reconnect because they're like, remember they're going through the Rebel together. They're
Right?
just having these awkward conversations. Like they're trying to like. He's like,
You
I'm
know-
losing myself, Jean. She's like, yeah, but I
yeah.
always came back to you. Like I,
Ouch.
yeah, yeah. Remember when I did
Bitch.
this? Remember when I did this? And I did this? And I did this? And I did this?
Yeah.
She's basically kind of like, figure it out, bro.
She wipes the tear from his eye when they rescue Emma.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you know how much?
Because he thought it was me, Madeline, right? He's like, Madeline. And it's like, oh, man, you blew your own cover.
Yeah, but if Emma gets to see that there's a teardrop from Scott, ooh, he's so
Oh,
in.
you think they're building to that?
I think so.
That would
You
be
know
the-
my
that would
favorite
be the-
combo. And again, this is why I'm starting to lean on why more Jean hate. This is why. You know how much of a bitch Jean is? She. I'm going somewhere with this,
That
but
was just a good lead in.
yeah, it really was. I can't repeat again because we won't get anything accomplished. You know the reason why? She could have set up a astral plane for Gambit and Rogue to have sex with so long ago. So long
Could
ago.
have, yeah.
But she's like, nah, rubber gloves work. And kept like, cleaning the oven. It's like, what am I going to do today?
Yeah.
Asshole.
Yeah, she actually could have. Easily. Um, OZT shows appearances, Operation Zero Tolerance. Just a bold thing to name your organization.
Well,
That is from the comics, though.
yeah, Friends of Humanity.
Friends of
Like,
Humanity, yeah. That one's a little more happy than Operation Zero Tolerance.
No, because we all thought Nazis was a good thing until we found out what Nazis were.
Who's we
Right?
all thought?
I don't know. Someone was like, that sounds fun. They got a Z in there. How often do you use Z?
Zed's Operation Zero
We say
Tolerance.
Z
also-
over here. That's how we know. We say Z.
OZT.
OZT.
OZT. Damn.
Nazis.
Okay, so we covered all those Rogue. We're back to Rogue. She's hunting
Sorry,
down.
parental discretion. Coke and Dank do not endorse Nazi or Nazisms
No.
of any kind, unless it's for humor purposes.
Yeah, that's it. Then we're okay with them.
Sprachen Sie Deutsch.
Yeah.
Shout out to. It's not a good time to shout out the Germans, but hey, Germans.
Achtung.
You know who's a
I
bitch?
remember-
Jean Grey.
This podcast is like, what if the art school just accepted Hitler?
He would have failed out.
Do you think was he a bad artist?
Who's really a good artist?
I don't know, but if we're talking about the 40s here, or I guess earlier than that, because he was younger. None of this would have happened if they just weren't so strict at art school. Anyways,
So are you blaming the Jews? What's happening?
well, they just went back to Africa.
Okay, yeah, you know. Jeez. Good lord.
God, there's sound bites in this.
We're getting canceled as much as this show's getting canceled. So be careful with episode 7, Bright Eyes. There's a lot of overtones.
yeah.
Coke and Dip pull. It may not be there, but you know.
We're tired.
We found some stuff.
So Rogue is hunting down Trask.
It's going to be a hard re-listen.
Yeah, just normalize.
Considering there's no editing. This is all staying in. So we may have to do another parental discretion at the top.
So Rogue is hunting down Trask because Sentinels, and naturally comes across Henrik Gyric's path and learns that he has been moved to Mexico City by some dark branch of the government. Enter cameo that everybody's probably excited about. I don't know, I haven't checked social media, but Captain America's in this.
Well, they're more happy at what Rogue does to Captain America than Captain America being in it.
Yeah, so that was
Here's your shit.
Yeah. It was funny, but it's come to it's made me think that like
I laugh every time because it's so unnecessary.
It's, I mean, it's ridiculous. That,
And then the close up on Captain America is like he doesn't get mad, but he
no,
just squints a little. It's like,
yeah, it's
all right,
like
Missy. Like that's his level of like this Dave is gonna need to talk to
you,
later.
you
And
bad
like
girl.
and that's enough for Avengers vs X Men for me. It's just like, remember when you threw my shield? It took me 3 weeks to go track it down.
X-Men.
I'm like, that's not easy for him to track down. Like, he doesn't fly. He
No,
doesn't have.
it's not gonna come back to
He
him.
doesn't come back to him. It's not a boomerang. Like, he's gonna go into the mountains and like for a fucking.
He's gonna spend like 2 weeks in there. Like,
This asshole didn't like the information I gave her. I didn't have to show you there was a bunker, eh? You could have just fucking smashed through everything. But you're like, I don't like what you're telling me. So here's your. It's moments like that I'm like, oh, it's Magneto was right, but I love these petty X-Men. They're so much more fun. They're so much more fun than anything you could have ever hoped for.
I was
I
dying
don't care
because
if they're right. I don't care if they learn lessons, but they're just like, oh my god, using all of her powers. Like that shit's in Antarctica now. Like it killed like 3 polar bears on the way. Like he's gonna see a blood trail. Like my shield. Like it's so good. It's so good.
what's funny is that like when I was watching that happened, I was kind of like my exact reaction was like, well, that was fucking unnecessary. Like what he didn't do anything wrong.
What a dick! Like just take his boot or something and like check. He's like, I'll go home with no boot. But like I need my shield. I'm not like you.
I hope if he comes back in the next episode, he has no shield.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. It's like I never got it back. It's just still out there. I had to call Tony and Tony shows up. Like, here's your shield.
Yeah. Oh man.
So good.
I was
so
like,
good.
but it made me realize it was kind of like, is this show just like a bunch of moments that they just thought of and then they string them together with like sometimes good threads and sometimes bad ones? Like, let's do a giant sentinel in Genosha. Rogue throws Captain America's shield across the country. Like, and then let's link it together now. That's what kind of, because there's all these weird high points that are like not bad, but just like
to your credit,
like weak strings.
This is definitely a TikTok show, and there's more scenes that you would see on social media as opposed to episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But that for me, that makes the case that I want a longer episode because you can stick more scenes of like that in.
That
again. But I would watch 20 minutes of Captain America searching through the snow for a fucking shield that this girl threw.
That's so funny.
It's like,
he wasn't being
just straight shooters. Like this is the truth.
Yeah.
Here's a new like army that's after like everybody. They're evil, and it's hard because I don't know where this guy is, and I can't really give you the information because I don't have it. Well, here's your shield. It's like I can't save lives now. Thanks, lady. Like
thanks.
All these kids have to die now. The school bus went down.
Great.
And I'm a shield.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
And this is why I love the internet because I know there's somebody animating now the after effect of like Captain America either looking for a shield or like trying to solve crime now without the shield and just feeling like neutered. Oh, so good. Internet reward me. I'll be looking for what you do with this magic. Don't piss off old women, apparently. Powerful old women.
But then from there, it gets like that's where it just keeps going up because she goes to Mexico City on her own. The X-Men are there as well because they get on the same trail to find Trask. Oh, because Trask contacts them.
Yeah. So
I was
the X-Men as a whole are terrible detectives, but Rogue's actually a really good.
She's
detective.
doing her thing. Yeah, she's doing her work.
She got a lot of stuff.
Good gumshoe.
A lot of information and made a few more enemies. A lot. Like she meets General Ross and he's like, "Hey man, Hulk can't even.
This too. That's right. Yeah.
Hulk can't even break in this." She's like, "You know what? Smash, smash, smash." My daddy always told me it's easy to break into jail, break out of jail.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that's $billions. I kind of want to see Rogue in a dark run if she's just smashing all like this government shit. Man. Yeah. Just being a dick to everybody. I want Dark Rogue. Can we start hashtag Dark Rogue?
Dark Rogue.
Because if she's just doing this for like an entire season, oh man,
throwing shields. Oh, she meets Tony and just throws his boots.
He's like, yeah. What if you don't have guns? It's like, oh, just slash
now.
Like, oh man, I don't care what type of old lady you have voicing it. I will laugh every time if she does this kind of stuff. It's amazing.
That's so funny. I was like, yeah, that's so unnecessary. So, and the big reveal is we learned that Mr. Sinister isn't the big bad. He's general to the big bad who is Bastion.
which is in Sinister tradition.
He'll turn on him.
No, but he's never the big bad, which is the
Yeah,
one thing I want. It's like, okay, you're gonna make it Sinister. It's like,
yeah.
no, someone higher than you. It's like, oh,
It's because he's
can I
not. I don't think he's angry enough.
can I get
Really.
some DNA?
Yeah.
No, he just want to make powerful. He's supposed to make powerful kids and
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
have them do weird things.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
That's
definitely
it.
he's definitely got an underground fight club. Hey, hairbag, go fight this weird
Do you think it's mutants
blob
though, or do you think
monster.
it's like chickens or cocks, like roosters? You know.
I think it's cocks and
Yeah.
chickens.
I can see him being really the cockfighting and like.
He's into some weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I would also watch a season of just like behind close, like when X Men are out in the world and we're supposed to be following them. We're following
Oh, you want his history? His internet
Sinister,
history.
and he's
His
just
internet. You want his internet history?
I don't want to see what he's looking at, but I want to see like he's making oatmeal and he's like, oh, it's a normal day, and it just goes down and down into like a sub basement and another sub
Yeah.
basement. It's just gross and gross and
Just
horrible.
levels. It just gets worse.
It's my cape level, and then nope, grosser. It's like DNA. Leech says not enough DNA.
They just say. Imagine him and Jamie as a team up.
It would never work.
No, it wouldn't. That's why I would love it. It'd
Yeah,
just be
that's right.
just be so volatile. It'd be like one issue or one episode, whatever you want to do, and then
Don't tempt me because we have to get back to reading more X Men with
yeah,
Jamie.
we'll
in
get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Yeah. So Bastion's behind it all. Really cool turn.
Can you explain some Bastion to the people that didn't know? Because I didn't even recognize it was Bastion.
Yeah, he's a big bad. He thinks he started as he thinks he's a human, but he's not. He's actually he's a human sentinel hybrid,
Mhm.
and he's basically the combination of Master Mold and Nimrod after they went through the Siege Perilous.
Right.
They merged him. He came out with no memories, was adopted by a human, raised like one, and as he grew up, he just realized how much he hated mutants. Like slowly, it was kind of like these things disgust me. And then when Hope came, oh, she was the Messiah, right? So
Yep.
that's when he started the Purifiers. He made these super sentinels. Trask, when he's like, or Gyrix, right? When he's doing
Yep.
when he's a sentinel, that's super sentinel.
Okay.
So they are from the comics as well. He created these super sentinels that were like really hard to kill, and he takes the whole team. So
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Because that's the best action sequence
that's
in this
dope.
episode.
Well, you know what I really liked about that was Gene and Cyclops falling. He's like, "You get the rubble, I'll get the," and it's like, that's so cool. And he just
And we
vaporizes
get
the
to-
rubble, and she
It's the,
throws it. Oh,
it's the first time where we get to see how they're going to articulate and draw Jean's powers because she lit up in like a neon blue.
Mhm.
And before, like it was just kind of like moving things, but now she's like charged up, so she looked even more powerful. That's also when Cyclops and all of them hit ground level. He's like, "We have to go full power now because dude was just a menace."
Yeah.
And you got to see him get all like take down, and them try to like level up, but couldn't do it. And then the get out of jail free card, which is who shows up
more.
to save the day. No, to save the day.
Oh, to save the day. Yeah.
No, do you not know who shows up? What's the word?
A cable?
Conveniently, there you go. To save the day, which was Cable. It was like, oh no, you got to use these. What was it? Electromagnetic
Yeah.
grenades to
Yeah.
get out of it.
Yeah. I hate that reinforcement trope. We're getting beaten. Here comes the reinforcement, and then tides turn. I really hope it doesn't end like that. It's okay for this one because that was a new threat, and they're learning, I guess, and they haven't really done that.
Is it?
In
So now we're assuming that he knows how to master time travel because he could stay around for longer than 3 minutes.
Oh,
but
no. I don't know.
decided not to go back to Genosha and save like 1,000
Mom!
of units.
This one was dad.
It's like, not now. We don't have time for this. Like, you've got one eye.
Yeah. And so in the old, no, I guess in the old series they found out, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember if they ever found out.
He didn't really get a
I
big.
don't think he did. There was
There
the
was-
episode with Corsair, but there wasn't.
They do flash forwards in like his time frame, but there's no real crossing of swords. Like he never
No.
goes back to talk to Scott or Madeline. So
No, it was always
the
like a
first time
secret.
he
But
did
they
it,
just
I
look at him in the eyes and go, "My boy."
But it's the same thing. Like we get to see what's his name, Corsair. What's
Corsair, yeah,
that's Scott's dad.
yeah.
So we get to see Starjammers, but like they never cross swords, right? Like he has the picture of Scott and Alex.
Oh,
But
they
they
dropped the
never
hint.
meet.
That's right.
They never meet, and everyone's like, "No!" So, if you're picking up pieces, because it looks like you are, to connect that, by all means, because I can't wait till the Starjammers show up and Space Pirates.
His dad's banging some alien chick.
I find it ironic that, as much as you hate it, what
So the first thing that came to mind was that his dad's. Nothing. Go ahead.
No, no, no. It was funny.
I was like, yeah, his dad's banging some alien chick. I was like, why did I say that out loud? It was just like this.
Oh, listen, we're a generation of Guardians of the Galaxies.
Yeah,
That Quill's getting it in with everything that wasn't
fair enough.
flesh tone.
Actually, in the video game too, he does that. Like
He bangs chicks.
he bang like there's a he in order to distract somebody, he has to bang this like octopus thing. It's pretty funny. It was
Right on.
yeah. Oh,
Get
the
it in.
video game is amazing. It's funny because we did the Guardians of the Galaxy episode.
Right. But we didn't talk about the game.
We didn't talk about
We
the
talked
games. I
about
hadn't played it
we
yet.
talked about the comics. Yeah. Okay.
I played the game like a month later. Amazing. I was like, man, I wish I played this before the.
We can go back because those movies still hold up.
Yeah.
And like we could talk about three more because I don't.
Oh, the
think we
video game is excellent. It's the team from the movies. And the characterization is pitched like perfect. It's really good, and the game was fun too.
My original point
But
was
anyways, go ahead.
I find it ironic as we're dealing with it in real time. AI is taking over. That basically what's going on with the X Men is how technology is going to kill them and
Yeah.
kill all of mutant kind. But humans are so dumb that they don't realize like it's probably going to take over us right after. So
Yeah.
comeuppance are coming in the next 3 episodes. But these three were. I was going to say almost flawless, and then I remembered that middle number 6 episode.
Yeah,
Which
this episode was amazing. I loved this episode. Start. I know that I think I nitpicked a little bit in this, but actually, no, I didn't really nitpick this episode much, did I? This one was really good. I was
well,
really engaged.
we didn't talk about kind of the real internet buzz about what happened here, which was before we know that Trask is like a super sentinel.
Yeah.
Rogue kills him.
Yes,
He's
that's right. Drops him. Yeah,
he's admittedly going to commit suicide. So this is how like bitter she is. She doesn't let him commit suicide. She grabs him to say "fuck you," then drops him, and half the X Men are like, "God damn, what are you doing?" And the other half are like, "Yep." And what's amazing about that is, regardless of what you think their individual characters would do in that situation, and again, another great reason to put a line in between them because there's a very strong morality of now. Can we kill our villains who have spent their entire lives dedicated to destroying mutant kind, or do we have to save even the worst of us? Based on however you think Magneto's right or Charles is right. That's basically what it boils down to. But it split the internet on people being like, "Yo, they wouldn't do this," and people being like, Why would they defend these motherfuckers?" Right? So, Bright Eyes, for as many reasons as I think they planned and didn't intentionally planned, there's way more discourse on the moves that was made and how they're making these moves. Because by this point now, we've seen Scott be pushed, Beast be pushed, um, Jean be pushed, but in different ways. Morph still kind of background. Nightcrawler's kind of a morality, so background. Wolverine, you would assume he's more on like the Magneto side of like kill them all because he really doesn't flinch on this shit. And now Rogue has been pushed into a state of distress that like I need revenge, and this motherfucker is gonna have to pay for all these crimes.
and that's why I think it's believable for me because when we go back to like what we were talking about at the top of the episode when I was talking about character arcs and reasonings, and I'm okay with people are changing as long as there's reasons for changing and we see them. She's in love with two guys and they both die at the same time. Of course, she's mad.
Yep.
Of course, she's gonna kill the guy who indirectly killed them. Of course, she is. I'm not surprised at all. It's Rogue. She's not. We're not talking about like Cyclops here. We're talking about Rogue. And I think Cyclops would kill too if he was pushed the right way, but it would take a little more. But Rogue's always been a bit of a loose cannon.
But Cyclops 96 would never kill.
That's what I mean. That's what I was referencing to. But like anything's possible. But like I'm just saying. My point was, it's more believable. Out of everybody on the team,
mm-hmm.
Rogue's on the lower end of who I think would never kill. You know what I mean? Like,
you would think she would never kill after?
No, she's on the lower end. Like, I would be completely okay with
her to
kill. Yeah, I expect her to kill.
Flip how you're phrasing that. She's a killer.
Yeah, she's out of the team. She is a very believable killer. She's just under Wolverine, as far as I'm concerned. Wolverine.
Okay, and then again, I was going to argue like, yeah, she's coming out of Brotherhoods of Mutant.
Yeah, no,
she trained under Mystique.
Temper.
She's legendary killer. But the fact is, she's always been one to pull her punches. She's never taken it that far. Like, you had to do something so traumatic to her. And
what's cool about the way she did it, sorry to cut you off, is that she didn't even hit anything. She just let something go.
I mean,
that's a really cool way to do it for someone like her who's just bang bang smash smash. She just goes nah.
then the discourse went on. Again, this is stuff I was pulling from the internet. Gene and Nightcrawler both could have done something to save Trask before he turned into a super sentient. But I think the pushback, I'm pretty sure Bo came out with a quote too saying that in certain instances, in certain traumatic moments of your
You
life,
freeze.
you freeze. You don't really know what to do.
Yeah,
And
I don't blame them for that. That's
you could argue that, but I wouldn't say that for Gene and Nightcrawler who have been in these situations time and time again. I guess this one's a little more close to home, but these are all reactionary people. You spend hours in Danger Room um, working out different scenarios where you would be in situations where you have to make snap judgments and what you do in those snap judgments. So I like to look at this episode as they all saw what was going to happen and could do something and chose not to do something because ultimately they all believe he's still a fucking bane of their existence.
I so
Except for Night.
For Jean, I think I'd omit her from that. But from Nightcrawler, he's used to living a split second decisions. Like Jean, like we were talking about Jean before, she just came back. She's a little foggy still, and she's a little slow with the reaction time.
That's
I
right.
believe that. Nightcrawler, bamf, like this guy's bamfing all over the place. He's used to like split second decisions. So yes, I can see that for sure. He could bamf, right?
But that's why I'd argue that I think we're arguing the same thing.
I
But
mean,
that's
I'm
why
splitting hairs here, but just
that's
for
the point of this
yeah,
episode. I think
yeah,
we're arguing the same thing. That's why Nightcrawler wouldn't. He's so stunned to see his sister do something that he's so out of
yeah.
character
There
from
you
what
go.
he
There you
expects for
go.
her that
Yeah.
he's like, I'm frozen, right? And then when you finally realize this guy's a monster, I don't want to do it. And then we get to react to that because as soon as he hits the ground, he's like, mutant detected. And then boom, it's a completely different war. So I like again, you may be talking me into this being the best episodes for how bitter Rogue is and throwing shields. But the tail end of this episode is you get so many levels of how this team now has to react.
And
Even
who's
the, even the choice of who they brought on this mission. Because if Jubilee was here, I don't think it would have went down the same way. She definitely would have been looking at all these motherfuckers completely different.
yeah.
This is way above her pay grade and her understanding. If Rogue's on this squad, I don't know if it goes down the same way, right? Like it has to be a certain level of X-Men, and they have to be going through certain things at this time for all of them to be like, nah,
And
let
who's
me
the
go.
one that pipes up? Morph.
More.
Is this what we do now? Like it wasn't Beast, it wasn't. It was Morph. It was like so that even caught me off guard too. I know I'm kind of I probably sound like a bit of a hypocrite because talking about writing. I'm like the whole like why didn't this person jump in? I don't really think like that because it goes back to like the whole old argument in like the MCU. Spider-Man's having this big fight. Why didn't the Avengers jump in? It's like well, then you wouldn't have a movie, right? Like so
But
for that.
I sure, but I only talk about other X-Men, right? Like
Yeah,
going
no,
off
no.
of
I'm
this,
just
this okay.
for the examples, like, well, why didn't this happen? I was like, well, because then now you don't have a movie. Now, like, why didn't this person jump in? Because then it's not the same trauma as Rogue actually killing them, right?
But we've seen them make split decisions and knowing what they have to do, right?
Right, but I'm no, but the whole
Episode
like,
one, the Sentinel tears the roof off the Blackbird, and they all have to be like, okay, go, right? Like
yeah,
they're all free falling and they all snapping in the decision. So I like to believe that it wasn't necessarily they froze. They all had the decision to do something and chose not to. Like
yeah,
they're all siding with
in
Rogue.
their split second, like, so more, not even that they chose not to, they just had a moment of doubt.
Sure.
It's like, oh, I should have
Because
jumped.
Morph could have turned into Nightcrawler and bamfed,
Yeah. Well,
depending
he
on
doesn't have
if we
math. No,
depending on how we know
it would have been
his
Gene. It would
powers.
have been Gene and Nightcrawler. Those are the two to talk about. But at the same
Or
time,
Angel. Like no, Morph could have transformed into anyone that flies and
not
jumped down.
fast enough to get. Oh, Quicksilver.
We don't again. We don't. You could have been exactly
Hey, we
one
were
right
just talking about that.
buildings.
He turned into
Yeah,
Quicksilver and had Quicksilver's powers.
right. But we're
Ah,
saying it's not. It has to be something that's like external or physical. Like
yeah.
anything
Oh, fair
internal,
enough.
we don't know if we can do, right? So I don't know if Banff counts as internal or external.
Fair enough.
Like we don't know if he can do psychic, telepathic
Probably
abilities.
not because it's internal, right?
But I think any one of those motherfuckers knew how to save that guy. To be honest with you, and even if they didn't, they know my squad has my back. So if Wolverine jumps out to grab him, he knows someone's gonna come
Yeah,
for
but
him.
he's dropping too fast. Wolverine's not going to catch him.
But you know what I'm saying? Like they all have contingency plans of like if you do something wrong and I go get the wrong thing that you've done, I can yell out Gene, Kurt, Scott, and they will all find a way to come save me. Now, whether or not you save the guy that I'm trying to save, that's splitting hairs. But all of them I think have trained enough to know in a split decision based off that first episode that like we all have each other's back. Like that's base level. Like we all learn how to fucking team play. So I really enjoyed the fact that Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, blogs were all like, "Yo, so like these guys are murderers now." And they're like, "Look at the situation that they've been put in. Like they're under the most amount of distress, and this guy is kind of the green door to their demise because he's the beginning of the end, right? He's what leads to like these final three episodes, which are crazy. And at the end of the day, Cable's always going to come through, which is a weird type of cheat code that we can talk about.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen again because that's twice he's come through. Once he didn't do anything, the other time
But
he's
you know he's going to be splattered all over 8, 9, and 10, right? I expect to see Bishop back. But like these final three episodes are going to be about necessarily Days of Future Past, but like Nimrod,
yeah.
Master Mold, Bastion, Sinister. Like we're getting the cream of the crop for them to like leave us on a cliffhanger for the season 2 that's probably wrapping now.
Oh, and like animation, like because the story's done. So
Yeah,
you mean
I
like animated?
do,
Yeah.
do the animation before the voice. No, they do the voice before the animation. So
I
I'd
don't know.
assume
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, because they'd have a storyboard, right? So then they animate, then they voice,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a
voice
good
and
question. I'm
animation.
not sure how it works.
I think
I
it.
don't.
I think it's script, storyboard, voice. I think voice and storyboard at the same time,
Mhm.
and then send off to animation. Because if they film the actors, I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, as I mean, so it's
Different
tricky
different cartoons do
because I
different
could
ways,
see
right?
them animating first and then doing the voice. I
I
think
know. I
voicing
know.
is the last thing.
I know. Simpsons does voice before animation,
Simpsons,
right? So I would assume, I would want to assume that it's all the same way, but it's
right?
not,
No, it's not,
right?
probably not. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know how to button how pivotal this episode was, but goddamn, a lot of things are changing very fast.
Yeah.
And again, don't get mad because nobody's ever dead forever in X Men universe.
No, I'm not. Yeah, the deaths don't bother me at all because they can just go
Yeah.
time jump.
Well, they're doing that.
Yeah.
So
So
if you don't like time cheats,
people like people are
hate to
gonna
spoil you for the 8, 9, 10.
people are gonna feel real silly crying over Gambit. Let me say that. Cameo account.
Let's do it.
Quicksilver. Captain America. We already talked about. Thunderbolt Ross. We already talked about. Strong Kite. We talked about. At Gambit's funeral, there's a bunch of guys they kind of focus on.
Reavers?
Thieves Guild.
Guild. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know their names individual, but that's the thieves. Those are his friends in the Thieves Guild. So that was pretty cool.
Even the brunette with the white streaks.
I guess so.
She's somebody. I don't think she is
Because
because
I have to watch the episode again.
Thieves Guild, like they dress like all in like olden timey,
yeah,
and like ascots and frilled shirts.
Yeah.
But there's another girl there.
Blob was in this. Amelia Vaught was in this. Forearm, Angel Salvatore, Mimic, Brainchild. Remember from the old intro? And Amphibious.
So we almost got
Warlock, guys. What's that?
We almost have the full intro of characters. Something that they've never done for the original series, 96.
Brainchild wasn't in the old show at all. But
I'm just saying
I don't know how that happened.
that Murderer's Row, that rake of villain characters we never got to see in the real show. We only got like 2 of them. We're only missing like Juggernaut and maybe one other person.
That's what I mean. Because Brainchild. Oh, Warpath wasn't in it either, was he?
Warpath's not in the new rundown, but he's in the old one. But we never got him in the show.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the old ones though. Brainchild was never in the show. He's in the intro.
No. Right.
Warpath, I don't remember him being in the show. Was he?
No.
He wasn't, but he's in the intro. Yeah.
Yep.
Strange choice of characters.
But like, if they were planning it and like assuming that they had another season, you assume, right? But that season 5 just kind of threw everything to shits.
Yeah.
But we may actually get Juggernaut. I mean, we've gotten Juggernaut. We got Juggernaut twice, right? So we'll assume we get him again.
Mega Red. No,
he's not.
What I do appreciate with us is though it started with Sentinels and Friends of Humanity, and it looks like it's ending with like the upgraded versions of that, with Operation Zero Tolerance and Bastion.
I want more love.
Cool.
I want more love for Sinister.
Yeah, nobody cares about love.